Just, I almost wish that we would have started the show a minute earlier so that everyone could have experienced what just occurred.
You know,
he came barreling in like a bat out of hell. Who are you? What's going on here? Why are the lights off?
Wow.
Interrogate Zach. I mean,
yeah. Well,
let me get to the bottom of this. What you're all about.
Doesn't see Griffin, gets confused.
Yeah, right?
I get it. I
Sits down.
I don't really look like Griffin.
You start the show, and then he gets up and takes a phone call.
Well,
this is what I deal with. This is, you know what's weird? I don't think he does this on Fairways and Greens Sundays on 105.7 The Fan. I don't think that's the way that it works.
That sounded like a really shameless plug.
That's his show. It's his show. Sure. Oh, was it?
Well,
you gonna be all right?
Oh yeah. I mean,
you sure? Like in general, are you gonna be all right?
Locate my son.
Oh, that doesn't seem great.
Well, he's home. We just don't know where.
Well, wait. What do you mean he's home, but you don't know where?
We just can't figure out where he is. We know he's home, but it's a long story. So anyway,
it sounds like a long story. Yeah.
Let's just get to what we're here for. I don't know if you want to start on the first hole or the 10th. Yeah,
I'll be all right.
Let's go through hole by hole. First hole.
I'll be all right.
Oh, Glenn, to clarify, do you want the camera on Drew right now or the camera on me? Where would you like it?
No, it should be on Drew.
Oh, it should be on Drew. Okay, I'm sorry, Drew. Well,
what happened to?
I'll move it for you.
Gavin, we can't have.
Oh yeah, he's done. Yeah.
There you go.
We gave it. We gave it a shot. It just didn't work out, right?
Is he done?
We upgraded. No, he's on vacation this week.
Is he? And where? I
don't know if you heard. It's July.
What happened to Gavin?
Yeah, that's the same thing he calls my son.
Well,
it's no different. If your name starts with a G, that's the way it's gonna go.
What did you do to your hair?
I don't know if you heard. It's summer.
I did hear.
Yeah, it's warm out.
You just giving up, huh?
No, I just decided maybe I didn't want to have sweat all over me at all.
Gave up. What was that jacket you were wearing at that dog thing the other night?
It was an animal-themed jacket for an animal charity.
Jeez,
it had kitties all over it. What is honest to God?
This is my fourth cup of coffee today.
Oh, that explains a lot.
It's not enough.
That explains a lot.
Jamaican blue, and it's not that kind of Jamaican blue.
Not this time, anyway.
Right.
That's legal now, though, so, feel free to do whatever you'd like to do.
There are 100 people standing outside.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
Don't you people have somebody on the corner you
get
right.
This
from? Like,
yeah, why do you got to go to
what
dispensary?
Right.
Drew's here. We've got a lot to do today. Coming up a little bit later on, Sal Paolantonio from ESPN will join us. He thinks the Ravens could dethrone the Chiefs in the AFC this season.
When pigs fly.
That's what you had for today? That's what you had?
I'm aggravated about last night, so I'm anti-Baltimore everything.
Did you bet them? What is wrong with you?
I've been betting them every night.
Oh.
Well, of course you bet them every night. They won
8 in a row. I understand. Would have been a rough week for your betting. Ethan Pecko, former Towson Tiger, now with the Houston Astros, selected in the 6th round. We'll catch up with the former Towson pitcher.
Yeah, good luck.
Because of why? Because of the Astros? Because of his time at Towson?
No, but you'll learn how to put stuff on the ball in Houston at least.
That's not what they do there.
Prolong your career.
That's not their choice. They do that in lots of places.
You'll learn how to doctor the ball.
I think in New York they do that quite a bit. And coming up a little bit.
Well, the Astros did the master class in it.
Anything else? Wait. You know what? Go ahead.
Just get it all done.
Just get it all out right
aggravated.
Now. About whatever.
What did British
you bet
Open to start today?
Oh, it starts at like 1 a.m. What's that all about?
Well, I don't know if you heard. There's a time difference.
Yeah, but
over in England,
they couldn't start it at 8 a.m. local time.
I don't know if you heard. There's a time.
Yeah, it's new.
There's a time difference.
They just changed it.
So he didn't hear that it was warm outside.
Right.
He asked me why I cut my hair like it was the middle of winter.
Glenn, I'm just not used to seeing you without the Spider-Man hat.
I've
gotten used to that.
I mean, it'll come back, but like for a couple of weeks while the hair's still short, I'll go sans hat is the way that'll go. What else do you have? Get it all. I want you to get it all off your chest. Like imagine you're laying down on the couch.
4 cups of coffee. You get after a while, it starts to agitate you instead of help you.
I have nothing to say about that last night. I mean, it was an abomination.
Fiasco.
It was just an abomination. It was some of the worst baseball I've ever seen in my life.
There was one inning where I think they scored 4. They scored 4 runs.
They scored 5 runs.
5 runs,
sure.
and I think they got a hit.
But they definitely got more than one hit.
Well, not many.
There was
more.
a 3-run homer in there.
That might have been the only thing they did. But all the other guys got on base because we either walked them, there was an error, we threw the ball to the wrong area.
Well, the look, I know it wouldn't have made a difference because they were already down big, but like the Frazier thing was just such of all. Dude,
he's getting worse.
The guy is one of the worst defensive players in all of baseball, right?
It's unbelievable.
And there are still people that kind of want to ignore it. So I don't think it's as bad as
he's terrible.
My God, he's wretched.
He's terrible defensively.
Wretched defensively.
I mean, Odor laughs at him.
I can't believe how bad he is defensively.
Right.
It's,
you know what's interesting about, and I certainly haven't followed his career at all, other than you look at his offensive numbers and what he's doing this year is a little bit of an abnormality power-wise.
Certainly,
I don't know why.
Did you say abnormality?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sure, why not?
But
big word of the week.
Yeah, why not?
It means not normal.
Is that?
It does.
Yeah.
I don't. Has he always been this terrible defensively, or has this, as time has gone on,
I was trying to
his
get into
range has diminished,
right.
his back's bothering him, his whatever, his glutes aren't firing like in Tiger in his heyday.
Yeah.
Like what? Was he always this terrible defensively?
I was trying to get into that the other day, and I could not.
Because the irony of it is, his offense is, reasonably the same as it's been.
Yes,
and from a power standpoint, it's more.
He has been a worse average hitter than he typically is. I mean, he's been an awful average hitter, obviously, this season. But yet, to your point, he's made up for it with power, and clearly
he's going to hit 20 home runs by the end of the year.
If
home
he
runs.
stays on the team.
He's staying.
And I think you're right about that. And it's the only reason why he's staying on the team is because of the power and because he's gotten some big hits, because he offers zero. It's hilarious to me when somebody says, well, he's got some versatility. No, he doesn't. There is nowhere on the field where you want Adam Frazier playing.
Yeah,
certainly not in the corner outfield spots.
It's insane.
He makes Jay Gibbons look good.
Boy, that's a...
Jay used to just run around out there like
no idea
waving at it.
And
Who was the other guy that we had?
The day he lost the ball in the snow.
No.
Sort of
Did
like,
you guys see that?
Remember David Newhan?
Oh yeah, David Newhan.
Remember David Newhan?
His father was a sports writer.
Playing the center field.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God!
Did you guys see what happened to DJ Stewart in New York the other day?
I did see what
Poor
happened
DJ.
to DJ. It's been a tough go for old DJ.
It's almost like one of those guys you just feel bad for.
Oh,
him.
100%.
Like I don't want to feel bad for, but I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the kind of guy that pisses me off. He has no business. How old are you? 18?
No, I'm 22.
22. Yeah.
Why does he piss
DJ
you off?
DJ is in my same age range.
See, because this is what we do now. And the kid last week did the same thing. He knows far too much.
The kid last week.
The Loyola kid.
Right.
Gavin
Carson.
That flunked out.
No,
right.
Oh, Carson.
Good. They couldn't pass the test over there, LaSalle. They all know far too much. They have no business knowing all this. But they follow
disagree.
sports.
What is your issue with that? I don't understand what the problem is.
Next
with that.
time you're in a bar.
But they don't have it. Like, it's not like they have to take care of their kids.
Next time you're in a bar, go up to a girl and say, hey, you know what DJ Stewart's hitting? And see what that does for you.
I'd rather not do that.
What's wrong with you?
Just 4 cups of
Wrong with
coffee.
you. Other than that.
You know, I prepared myself for this today.
Yeah, he did. He literally sat down. He's like, "I'm prepared to be made fun of by Drew Forrester."
Oh, it's
today. I said, well,
it's what's expected to happen.
It's a badge of honor.
right.
Yes, it's expected to happen.
That's
I don't
the way
come to
it's
your
gonna
house.
be.
At
you
least
go.
I don't get called Gavin. Like that's just not even
Right.
Well,
remotely
he's never
close.
going to bother to learn. Zach, I'm sorry. He's
Okay,
never going to
that's
bother
fine.
to learn what
I'm
your
s-
name
I'm-
Are
is.
you
Yeah.
a CK or a CH?
I'm a CK.
Or are you a C?
I'm a CK. No, I would never be a C.
Okay, so you're a CK.
I wouldn't even show my face around here if I was a C.
Okay, so
Coach
you're
of the Bengals is a C, right? Like,
Well-
Oh, he is for sure.
He's definitely a C.
Yeah, remember when he got mad?
I do
Remember?
remember. I do remember.
Well, first of all, we got mad at him
well, we did
for kicking a field goal
for
when it
what
was
it's worth.
44 to
Yeah,
nothing.
correct.
And what's his name? Old Wink got pissed off at
Yeah,
him.
right.
Zach was supposed to. We were just supposed to. Zach was like, "Yeah, we'll just let you shut us out. It's good."
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Wink got mad at that.
I mean,
like, what's wrong with you?
Wink
you
was kind of
buffoon?
he was kind of a hard ass. He was kind of
Wink was a
kind of.
clown.
Yeah. All right, so the Orioles lose last night. They'll try to avoid the sweep, and that matters.
I know
if
you're going to
you
ask
care.
me, am I worried? And the answer is no.
Why would I ask you that?
Oh, because you do every week. Are you
No.
worried now?
No.
They're fine. The Dodgers got swept at home by the Phillies.
It's a bummer that they lost the game on Monday
that set
night.
the tone.
Yeah,
They were rolling.
It feels like
They
that
were
had-
rolling. They were going to have a great field night. The Rodriguez came up and was decent. And actually, if you go back and I'm trying to remember where was the ball hit? The dude should have caught the ball, didn't catch the ball.
in
Hicks.
center field. It was Hicks. Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
If that ball gets called, the whole game might change. Like, I'm not saying he was great, but he certainly was more than adequate enough to win. His pitch, he threw the ball well. I thought that was a huge turning point in the game, and obviously then Baker comes in, and that was a big game.
If there's
they win that game. now they're walking around with their chest out last night. But
if there is something that I've been reminded post All-Star break, I do think that we got a little caught up on the starting pitching is fine because for one time through the rotation, the starting pitching was fine. The last time through the rotation, all 5 starters in the first half, all 5 starters were really good. And we kind of forgot that, like, the Minnesota offense is dreadful. I mean, it's just as bad as it gets. I don't know why. On paper, it shouldn't be this bad, but Minnesota's offense stinks. And I feel like
terrible.
We allowed ourselves to get carried away in the starting pitching is fine. It's all come around. And in moments, I think all of the starting pitchers can be capable. Again, there isn't really a 5th starting pitcher at the moment. Although Cole Irvin made an argument last night that he should go back to the rotation.
He was very good last night.
He was really good. Or maybe that's proof that should be his role, is being the long man. Because
when somebody gets clobbered in the 3rd inning, you come in, right?
It's a little bit of the pressure is off, right? We're probably not going to win the game anyway, and he pitched really well. And if the offense could have ever gotten going last night, who knows? Maybe they could have found a way back into that game, as well as Cole Irvin pitched. But I do think that we got a little bit too comfortable with the starting pitching for a little bit and kind of forgot that there's still...
I know where this is headed.
What?
I mean, we're going to talk about him, right?
Oh, you want to talk about Ohtani? Well, he pops up in Would You Rather Wednesday. You guys are...
I won't be here for that.
You guys are... Well, we'll still have you participate.
What's the Lamar meter at 96 because of December?
Yeah, we're not sure about it.
Because we don't know if is that the December meter?
Just stop
the Lamar December meter?
You did that joke last week.
Oh,
you got to come up with new material when you come in.
Yeah, but Letterman threw the thing through the
I
glass
understand
every night.
time.
And it
you
worked.
do that. I don't even like the taste. I understand.
It worked.
I understand.
Let's talk about Ohtani.
Somebody came up to me at that animal thing last week and was like, I can't believe they let you guys on the radio together again. I said, don't worry. It'll never happen again.
Yeah, it's pretty much
That'll never.
Did you see this clown-ass ump last night throw
I did.
the pitching coach for Toronto out of the game? I
did see that last night. Yes.
That's the one that finished me off.
You were finished 3 weeks ago.
These umpires.
It's the same bit you've done every week.
You got to fire all these
This
guys.
one finished you off.
You got to be fired.
All of them.
Every single one of them.
March them all out there.
Fire them all.
Force them to take their clothes off. Parade them through the
street. He wasn't even talking to the ump.
Shame. It was. You want to see? This will mean nothing to you at all. The single most clown shoes things that happen in sports all week happened in Hungary this week. It happened in a women's tennis event. It's on clay courts.
Okay. This is worse than Djokovic yelling and getting a hindrance point knocked against him.
Well, I mean, they didn't really stop. I mean, that one didn't even count. It was just a warning. I mean,
okay, but still, like.
So there's a women's tennis match happening, and Zhang Shui is playing Alyssa Toth, and Shui hits a shot that's called out, and it's on a clay court. Now, how this works on clay courts is you just go look at the ball mark. There's no Hawkeye. You just go look where there's a mark from the ball on the clay court, and you can see was it in or was it out. So Shui starts looking at it. She's like, I think that might have been in. And she says, hey, hang on a second. The other girl, I swear to God, walks over and scrubs out the mark.
I love it.
So that it can't. Oh, you love it.
I love it.
You love it.
She's out right away.
Out
of the tournament.
I mean, that's what I would think.
You got to go.
I would think that would be the case.
Sorry.
Immediately, no effing chance.
Right.
You're done.
That's unbelievable.
It's the most clown shoes thing I've ever seen in sports.
Real. I mean,
She walks over and rubs just to make sure that they can't be reviewed. Now
did she accidentally
walk
over and do it?
No, not in any way.
Oh, or did she?
No, not a chance.
It's like in the old days when you weren't allowed to tap down spike marks.
Yeah.
And you would walk by and just sort of your putter hit the ground by accident every
now
3
and then,
feet.
right?
You're like,
what
spike
happened,
marks. Sorry.
What happened there, right?
Right.
Yeah, what was that all about?
So she did it on purpose.
One of the worst things I've ever seen in competition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, those Hungarian women, you know how they are.
I don't know how they are. I got to be honest with you. I haven't spent a lot of time. That represents all Hungarian women?
Pretty much.
Boy, I didn't know you knew so much about Hungarian women. It's a very weird world.
All right, so let's get back to Ohtani.
Why? Why get back to Ohtani? He'll pop up.
We're getting him, aren't we?
No, they're not getting Ohtani. Rosenthal is banging the drum, too. I saw you were trying to bang the drum the other day at your website. Rosenthal was banging the drum today at The Athletic. This is nonsense. Look,
nonsense for what reason?
Because you can't pay that price for any rental at all. You can't.
Well, that is the dispute. I mean, or not dispute, but that is the quandary, right?
Look, by the way, if at some point we find out
the
market
that price,
if we find out the market for Ohtani is not nearly what you would think it would be, let's talk.
Well, what do you think it is?
4 legitimate prospects.
Okay, but who are they?
So
go through and
for what it's worth. I'm going to do this.
Think they are?
I'm going to do it based on what Rosenthal said today, just for the
Okay,
sake
well,
of it.
what's he know?
But, what is Rosenthal? No.
Nice tie.
What? Why are you going after Rosenthal?
He wrote something about the blast once. I've never forgiven him.
Have you never been over it? See, ever remember there was something we were talking about one morning, and he literally texted me, "You guys are all wrong." I said, "Ken, why don't you just
come on here and tell us that?
Call in. We'll talk about it." He said, "Nah, taking the kids to school."
I love it.
Like, why are you?
Right.
What is this?
Right. We're wrong. You're taking your kids to school.
Yeah. Right.
You tell me who's got more authority.
What's all that about? So yes, Ken Rosenthal today at The Athletic goes in on the Orioles should go after Shohei Ohtani.
Okay.
Here's what he suggests.
Okay.
Right. A package for Ohtani could include one of first baseman Ryan Mountcastle.
Okay.
No chance.
No chance.
No chance. Why?
That would be what they would. No, that would be that they would take Ryan Mountcastle as a centerpiece of a Shohei Ohtani deal.
Not a centerpiece, but
yeah, you want to throw him in.
Okay, go ahead.
But this is the problem. He says one of this group of guys, and he puts all of these guys on the same level.
Okay,
is the problem.
Go ahead.
He puts Cowser, Mayo, and Mountcastle on the same level.
Okay, Cowser, Mayo, and
Mountcastle.
Okay. How funny would it be if we had a
or Kjerstad.
How funny
Cowser, one of Mountcastle.
Okay.
So let's start there. Mountcastle, Mayo, Kjerstad, or Cowser.
How funny would it be if we had a guy last name was Lettuce and another guy's last name was Ketchup?
What?
Just how funny would that be? Ketchup, lettuce, and mayo. Just how
sometimes
Just how
you know
funny.
what I think about sometimes? How lucky your
Why
wife
do you
is.
do this?
Just
Why?
how lucky she is.
But just think about how funny that would be if we had ketchup, lettuce, and mayo. All right, go
so
ahead.
one from that group, he says, plus one of Westberg,
Okay.
Ortiz,
Okay.
or Prieto.
Okay.
By the way, I'll get there in a second.
Okay.
Plus
Okay.
Cade Povich
Okay.
or Seth Johnson.
Okay.
Of course, which all of us say, why not both?
Please. Right. Yeah, please.
Why not
Please
both?
take them both. And Chris Davis.
And I don't remember. So that's basically he suggests that. And by the way, if the trade was Mountcastle, Prieto, and Povich and Johnson, we'd all say,
do it
tomorrow. Like, what are we talking about? Do it tomorrow. The problem is, comparing Mountcastle to Mayo or Kjerstad is absurdistan. Like, there's no comparison between those things. The comparing Prieto to
you don't
Westberg,
know that yet because they haven't played.
their value at the moment is absurd.
Okay.
Mountcastle's value is dramatically diminished.
It's declined.
Correct.
I would agree with that.
To compare their value. To your point, do we know that Mayo or Kjerstad will ever end up being the guys that we think? Of course we don't know that.
Right.
But to compare the value of Mountcastle to the value of Mayo or Kjerstad right now is absurd. So the price of Mayo plus Westberg, that's too much. Immediately that's too much for a rental player. Now, it wouldn't be too much for...
But you will acknowledge that
it's
you're
not
getting
the same as any other rental player. I
getting
understand
two
that.
players.
I get it, right.
It depends on what your analysis of this year is. If the window's going to close in 24 or it's not. That's the question. I mean, you look at the Yankees being dramatically worse than usual. You look at the Red Sox being dramatically worse than usual. You say...
The Red Sox are actually better than we thought they were going to be.
I guess they,
Arguably,
but compared to normal standards for the Red
They've
Sox.
been the best team in July. One of the best teams in baseball in July.
But do you think they have a chance to win the World Series?
No, but I also think that if they somehow snuck into the playoffs, which is unlikely at this point, they'd be one of those teams that if they went 18-4 in their last 22 and snuck in, then they might be dangerous. I don't know. But anyway, I know what you're saying. Look, the window... the window is just opening.
That's the hope.
But what you don't know is next year, as we think we're going to be better, Texas might be better, and Detroit might be better, and the Blue Jays. I'm much more of the mindset, and I am trying hard to not worry all that much about the fact we haven't been there since 1983, because Mike Elias doesn't care about that. But I think for us, people of my age, this is important. We haven't been to the World Series since I was 18 years old. So I would like to see them now. I agree. I don't know. I would say that to me, just what I've seen, it would be hard for me to give up Westberg. And it's very small sample size. It would be hard for me to give him up.
If there was
but the other guys...
there is a we talked about the thing that was floating around that FanDuel put out last week, where it was like Westberg and then whatever else Hall,
DL Hall, and
for Corbin Burns, and I said I'm not saying no to that because Burns gives you another year of control after this year. He's a legitimate ace. Like I'm not immediately saying no, as much as I agree with you that I have no interest in parting ways with Jordan Westberg. Like, I do think that you have enough there that you could live, and you're drastically upgrading the top of your rotation if you do something like that with another year of team control. But for a rental piece that you're not helping your bullpen in any way, which I think most of us would say at the moment is the most concerning. Why can't the Orioles get to the World Series this year? Because the bullpen is atrocious behind 1.5 guys. I mean, at best.
I don't know about that. I think behind 2.5 guys.
If you're giving weight,
if we get the game to the 7th inning and we're ahead, we're pretty much winning unless it's 4-3. Like
you have way more faith in what you have seen from Yennier Cano of late than I think there is reason to have faith in it.
He's
been
no
shaky
Perez.
AF. I don't disagree with that.
Right.
It's why I'm still willing to give him a half. Like, I'm still willing to say I have the second most faith in Yennier Cano, and I think he's a part of the solution. But to pretend like he's the lockdown guy in the 8th inning that has not been the case whatsoever. There's one guy you have complete faith in.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Cano has been getting nicked, but I don't think I'm not that worried when they're ahead 5-2 and he comes in.
There's a big difference between being ahead 5-2 and having something to play with. We're talking about the playoffs now.
Sure.
Like, you're trying to make it to a World Series.
I'm okay with him. I am. But I'm not disputing, by the way, that we don't need another arm or two. I'm just saying.
I think it's multiple arms. Multiple bullpen arms.
I don't know. I don't see anybody else being all that good either.
In the bullpen specifically or just overall?
In the league.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
I mean,
who's better than us?
Well, right now the Braves and the Rangers are definitely better at the moment.
I wouldn't say definitely better.
Well, the Braves are definitively better, and I would argue the Dodgers are now proving that they're better, especially if they're going to
2 games.
Not just these 2 games. It's the totality of what they present. It's the totality of look at that lineup and tell me where
you like the team.
I do like the team.
Why don't you be a homer for once?
Wait, and say what? They're never going to lose another game?
Go team.
Yeah, is that what you want me to say?
Look,
I
am pro Ohtani.
I'll tell you, I'm pro Ohtani. We'll call it pro Ohtani. I'm pro Ohtani if the price is not nearly what. Thank you. Now that changes everything. God,
I mean,
like, go ahead. If Drew's gonna get a jersey, trade Westbrook.
We have a 17.
The hell do we care?
We have a 17 on the team.
What are we doing? What is this?
I am now again. I'm not doing this willy-nilly.
But that's
I'm not giving them.
When we say we're pro Ohtani, it's brainless. Like in the scenario,
are they trading him?
We don't know that to begin with, but at some
though.
point, yes.
They have to.
I agree.
I think there's only 4 guys that you don't give up for him. And I don't think Kowser, Kjerstad, or Westberg are in that 4.
I'm saying
so
if you could trade.
I'm saying
Henderson, Rutschman,
Holiday, and Grayson.
Right. I understand that.
4
but
guys.
You're willing to put all of the rest of those guys in?
Not all of them, but certainly mix and match.
It's the price. It's the I don't want it.
I might even give him Grayson.
These guys aren't untouchable to me, but when you start talking about rental pieces, if all I'm coming away with is a rental, then certain guys become untouchable. Westberg to me becomes untouchable. If the cost of this is, let's go to this list: Povich and Johnson. Now you've got nothing pitching prospect wise at this point. Like now the cupboard is utterly bare. It's bare to begin with. It's thin. But now it's utterly bare. You've got nothing when it comes to
I mean, I wouldn't
prospects.
necessarily call Povich a top-tier pitching prospect. He's like
I wouldn't call any of them top, but they're all you have. You don't have other options. Somebody's got to pitch. Like, you have nothing coming forward. So, but let's just say it, those 2 guys, and it was Ortiz, then I'm talking, I don't want to trade Mayo or Kjerstad for a rental, but if I can do those 2 guys and Ortiz, then maybe we can talk about one of these other 2 players for a rental. But to
here's the other thing I would ask: what's the likelihood that on opening day 2025? I know this is very hard to do, but you can plug and play these guys. What's the likelihood that Mayo, Kjerstad, Kowser, Westberg, Ortiz, Gunnar, What's the likelihood that all of those guys are on the team in 2025 because they have a place to play?
Well, specifically infielders?
What's
very minimal, yes.
Right.
That's why I would have no problem. I've said
you're
before.
probably moving one of these or two of these guys on anyway.
And what I would say is,
point,
I would have no issue if the price of a rental for a pitcher for a Lucas Giolito was Norby, right? Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm lukewarm on him now.
It seems like you should be able to do better than a rental with Norby. But
the guy I want from the White Sox is Sheets.
Yeah, I know you love him. That's your guy.
That's the only guy I want.
But if the White Sox said we do straight up Giolito for Norby, I'd say, okay, I can live with that.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Like, I don't want a rental.
Sure.
Like, I would prefer
look at
somebody
this dude
with
in
control.
Oakland now who's killing the ball
Yeah,
that we gave up
I
for
understand that.
Irvin. Like, you never know.
I get it.
And he could come to the big leagues, by the way, and stink.
Might very well. That's
Right.
totally possible. But I would do that for that. I'm talking about, like, the total price of this.
The Angels have to do this.
What?
Not this, but they have to get
trade
rid of it.
Ohtani.
Well, they have to.
Unless for
He
some
can't
reason
leave in November and you get nothing.
I agree with that. And the only question is whether do they believe that it's a let's keep him happy. If he says to them, I want to be here.
Well, it changes the whole thing if he says that. Is he going to say that?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the guy. I know he's very good at baseball. That's a list of things that I know about him. That's what I got for you. Good at the baseball.
I mean, it totally changes the whole landscape if he says.
I understand.
And I don't know how he says it in Japanese, but I want to be here.
No, he didn't study that on your way in.
No,
I
want to be here.
I completely get it.
That's totally different than, hey, look, loved it here, but I'm going to go chase. You guys know Boston's going to give me $1 billion,
Right.
and these other teams, like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, well then we'll see you later.
Or he might just be really happy in Southern California, has developed something, and has always been comfortable there, and he says, I would kind of prefer to be here. And they say, even without a guarantee that he's going to sign, and they say, well, if there's a chance, let's try to keep him happy.
If I'm the Angels, I sit him in a room and I make him watch the Randy Newman I Love L.A. video.
I don't know
like
if that,
over and over and over.
I don't know if that's. I'm pretty sure O.J. Simpson's in that video. Like, I think I'm going to pass. I don't think he actually
Poor
is.
O.J.
I don't think he. Stop that. Stop that.
The guy's been maligned for the last 25 years.
I don't think he's actually.
That's about as wild as what happened with the banana yesterday.
Oh, we'll talk about that too. That'll come up as well. All right, we got to do actual sports content. Are you going to be okay? I'm sorry. Coming up, the return of the Maryland Cycling Classic this Labor Day weekend.
I was going to ride in this.
No, you weren't going
but
to.
I don't know how to do it.
That would be part of the reason why you weren't. Joining us now, world-class cyclist Robin Carpenter is with us here on GCR. Robin, it's Glenn and Drew in Baltimore. It's good to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
No, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
It's great to chat with you. Robin, can you just sort of take me through this event in America? We saw it for the first time a year ago. Of course, you're from just up the road in Philadelphia. What does it mean to everyone in the sport to have an event of this caliber right here in the United States?
Yeah, it's unfortunately pro road cycling in the U.S. has been on kind of a little bit of a downturn recently, and COVID accelerated some of that. So having an event like this, and especially a new event, come back for a second year, at this point, this is this is the biggest road cycling event in the United States. So it's just it's heartening for those of us who love road racing to see something like this pop up and stay here.
It sounds like you're saying you never know, right? You never know when you run an event like this if it's just not going to click. It sounds like what you're talking about is that it really is meaningful that there was support for this event, and you tasted some of that a year ago, and that there was an appetite to not just do it again, but try to grow the event and make it even better.
Yeah, exactly. I think the race has great support from the city and the county and the state, which I think is key. It's pretty much impossible to run one of these races without the people who do the day-to-day logistics of running a city like this, behind you. It's 120 miles of rolling enclosure with police and 120 cyclists that can be sometimes spread out over the course of miles on the road. So it's just been, I've gotten a little look behind the scenes here recently, and to see that there's all this ongoing support is just, gives me warm, fuzzy feeling
That's
for
cool.
the future of this sport.
Robin Carpenter is with us again. The Maryland Cycling Classic returns in September. So now we just got to say, what the heck went wrong last year? What 13th place? What is that? That's unacceptable, Robin. Like we're rooting for you.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you, man. I came into that race with a ton of fitness, and here's the thing about cycling is that there's all this benefit to drafting, right? I don't know how much you know about bike racing, but it's
very little.
It's just you and I.
It's just an exercise contest, right? So you look at like a triathlon, like an Ironman, it's just a bunch of people. Drafting's not allowed, and it's people sort of riding in a straight line, and it's sort of whoever's fit enough is gonna win that. There's nowhere to hide. However, in road cycling, when you see that big pack of cyclists, it's not because everybody just wants to hang out together. It's because there's basically you do about half or less as much work as the guy in front of you if you're sitting behind him in his draft. So because of that, there's all sorts of tactical dynamics that can play out. And if you're taking too much wind early on, it basically can ruin you for the rest of the race. So I was a little too excited. First year event last year, kind of a little bit local. I'm not quite from Baltimore, but Philly's close. Like I said, this is one of the only events of this caliber in the country right now. So I was doing a little bit too much, probably in the opening miles. And then there was this bit of a climb, and the race kind of the group of 20 kind of got away from me. I did have teammates in it, which was kind of that's part of the game here too. Is it's not just me here. I have 6 teammates in the race. So we're constantly it's a team effort, right? One person can't win a race against 7 unless they're a superhero, and we try not to talk about crazy heroic performances like that in cycling anymore.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You and I are kindred spirits, because when I was 15, I used to deliver newspapers.
Oh, very
and
similar.
I tried to get it done in 27 minutes or less.
Right.
So I would race through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I feel like you and I are right there. I can just feel your energy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You had all this potential. What happened?
I know. I got old.
Sorry, we're doing a special today. It's take your grandfather to work today.
I got old.
So I apologize, Robin. I had to let
Well, here's golf goes through this with the equipment changes. Golf has, over the last 25 years, golf has really changed because of the equipment, so much so that they're talking about rolling back the ball and the clubs and all that stuff. Has cycling gone through the same thing with the bike? Like, is the bike you're riding today the same bike you would have ridden 10 years ago?
Not even close.
Okay.
Yeah, different planets. There's but between when I started sort of getting into racing, probably in 2005 or so, and now all bikes are carbon fiber, right? Every single bike that's high end is full carbon fiber wheels, handlebars, frame, seat. All the shifting now is electronic and wireless. All road bikes come equipped pretty much standard with hydraulic disc brakes, so your stopping time is so much faster. There's it's increased the speeds in a lot of these races by a significant margin.
And what would the cost be? That's something I'm interested in too. Like, what's the cost of top of the line bike that you or your others on your team would be riding in?
Yeah, it definitely varies. Sometimes teams have sponsors that are a little bit more budget oriented and aren't necessarily pushing the envelope. But I think if you look at the Tour de France, which is sort of in its concluding stages right now over there, some of the top end bikes that those teams are riding, they're not standard. They've been customized. So even a standard top of the line bike now is like $12,000.
Wow.
Once you add in sort of some of the extra little widgets that are, making the bike a little more aerodynamic, a little bit lighter than a stock bike, you're talking, $15,000, $16,000, $17,000.
Nice.
So you and I can
go get 2 of them.
Yeah, right.
Okay. We're gonna run out and get 2 of them right now.
Right now. Robin
Let's
Carpenter.
just say it's more than my car.
Yeah, right.
Robin Carpenter with us, just another minute or two here on GCR as we're getting ready for the Maryland Cycling Classic coming up September 3rd. Robin, I always, whenever we have a cyclist on, I always have to know gnarliest looking injury that you've ever experienced. Like gnarliest, wipeout, or the time that you ate it and you just looked down and you were like, oh boy.
Oh man, it's funny that you asked, because just this year I actually had my worst crash ever. I was doing a what's called a criterium race in South Carolina, which is sort of a bunch of laps, like say 70 laps on a short course, like say around a city block or two. And in the last lap, at 200 meters to go or something, I got taken out by somebody dive bombing the inside of the corner at about 42 miles an hour. And I broke 6 bones in the fall. Wrist, collarbone, 4 ribs, and a concussion. So that's by far the worst.
How long? Okay, you broke 6 bones, and then you were back on a bike. How long after that?
All my fractures were non-displaced, fortunately.
Okay, all right.
So I was able to get back on the trainer, like inside, after 2.5 weeks or so, once the concussion symptoms subsided.
Okay, the other thing is the guy that dove bomb you or dive bombed. I don't know what the appropriate version of that phrase is.
Wrecked you.
Right? The guy that wrecked you. Are you able to see him the next day at breakfast and be like, hey man, all's fair in cycling, or do you literally every time you see him walk by in the catering line, you kind of clench your fist a little bit, like I would really like to go punch that dude in the head?
Yeah, there's differences, right? There's shades of gray to what's sort of acceptable in cycling like that. In any sort of racing, it's you're racing for a corner. There's someone's got to give way eventually. Unfortunately, in this case, it was kind of pretty clear cut.
Oh, that son of a bitch!
Boneheaded move. But I will say, they apologized.
All right.
But hard to hear an apology when you're looking at 2.5 months out of competition. Right. There's not much anybody really can say.
I feel a lot better, man. Thanks for that apology. That really helps my 6 broken bones. I'm so glad you mentioned it. Oh, man, that is rough, dude. That is rough. Robin Carpenter, we can't wait to see you back here in our area for the Maryland Cycling Classic. It was so cool to see how this entire region embraced this event. We can't wait to see what's next, as I know there's a great commitment from our state to make this an even bigger and better event moving forward. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us, man. Continued success this summer, and looking forward to seeing you here in Maryland in a little bit, all right?
Yeah, thanks so much. And if I could just, before going, point out that there's a couple of community-based events sort of surrounding the race on Sunday. So there's a community bike jam here in downtown Baltimore on Friday, which is kind of it's a low-key event where families can come with their kids' bikes and ride around the park and do a little skills course and maybe get autographs from some past cycling Olympians. And then there's a longer, kind of more serious charity ride that's from the start up in Sparks on Saturday morning. So there's a whole sort of constellation of things going on the weekend for the community.
That's awesome.
If anybody wants to sort of get involved and see what cycling's about.
Find out more. MarylandCyclingClassic.us is the website for you to find out more about all of that stuff. Robin, thanks again, man. Really enjoyed this.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Robin Carpenter with us here on GCR. When we come back in,
I want to do a new segment.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an appropriate term for it. Something like, you're on my last nerve.
Oh?
Or something.
Okay, why?
These 2 guys on this poster here next to you.
You're bothered by them? You want to go to war with these?
Who does that? What adult, what grown man
probably the same
dresses up in these outfits and then points at the camera like these
probably
two?
The same type of fellow that has 4 cups of coffee on the way in to do his show. Probably a similar type of deal. We'll come back in.
What do you call these 2 people?
They're fans is what you call them.
Super Raven fans.
What's wrong with you? Come back in. We'll play Would You Rather
Paint
Wednesday.
your face.
And I'll allow Drew to tell me who's going to win the British Open. We'll do that next. Until after the break.
All right.
It's Glenn Clark Radio.
John Rahm.
Catch that festival feeling in Charm City. Everywhere you go, you'll find exciting entertainment, delicious eats, and endless summertime fun. Cheer on the O's at Camden Yards, pick crabs by the waterfront, beat the heat inside a world-class museum, and make memories that will last a lifetime. Go to baltimore.org for more information and to plan your visit.
I'm Michael Jangrandi, president of AJ Michaels, your carrier energy expert for 44 years. Save money, energy, and make your home more comfortable and virus-free. free. Find us at ajmichaels.com. That's ajmichaels.com.
Your summer destination is closer than you think at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. With an expansive gaming floor and incredible dining options ready for you to explore, your adventure awaits. Dine at the new Coho Korean Barbecue House coming in July or on the patio at the Prime Rib. Enjoy the summertime breeze at Orchid Smoking Patio. Limited time packages starting at $229. What are you waiting for? Book now. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All electronic tolling is here to stay in Maryland, and DriveEasyMD.com helps you cruise a little easier. We're Maryland's tolling resource, home to Easy Pass, pay-by-plate, and video tolling. It's never been easier to pay your way. DriveEasyMD.com will keep you moving.
The Orioles are off and running, out to prove that last season wasn't a fluke, and they are one of the best teams in baseball. Hi, I'm Paul Valley, host of the Bat Around for Pressbox. Tune in every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon as Zach Goodman and I break down every Adley bomb, every Tony Tater, and every save from the mountain. Like a warm hug from Rutschman, the Bat Around has you covered with all things Orioles as we embark on what's sure to be a magical summer in Birdland. So tune in every Saturday for the best in Orioles coverage right here on the Bat Around.
It's another exciting weekend of affordable family fun at Prince George's Stadium with the Bowie Bay Sox. Weekend starts on the 21st with our Bowie Pit Beef Night. Come on out and grab a bite. Back-to-back fireworks carry on to Saturday with the Island Luau, a free Bay Sox Hawaiian shirt to the first 750 fans. And it closes on Sunday with Heroes Day. Bay Sox jerseys auctioned off to support local charities. Get your tickets now by calling 301-805-6000 or anytime online at baysox.com. The Bowie Bay Sox. Let us be your 9-inning vacation.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Costas Inn has been serving up delicious steamed crabs for over 50 years. Lately, the crabs you want to eat when the weather warms up have gotten harder and harder to get. So get your crab eating game plan in place. Make sure to stick this number on your fridge, 410-477-1975. Call ahead and reserve the size crabs you want. You may be able to walk in, but you may also be disappointed at the size or maybe even get shut out altogether. So call ahead, have a plan, and then arrive on your crab eating vacation. Costas also has delicious crab soup and crab cakes. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. For more than 50 years, they've been satisfying crab lovers in and around Baltimore.
That first sip, that first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
If you need more of Glenn, you can also hear him every Sunday with Rita on 105.7 The Fan. But also, if you need more of Glenn, what's wrong with you?
All right, who's winning? Who's winning this golf tournament?
Well, here's what I would say. First of all, as I've been doing it, Drew's Morning Dish, like if you're doing this to wager on golf, because golf is right now has become wildly popular in the betting world because of all the data.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some people on the internet that are savages that are really good at it. I mean, because they really go knee deep into the data of like stuff that when I say this to you, you're going to be like, okay, whatever. Like the lowest spin rate with your irons on golf courses where the conditions are firm. Like these guys go right.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So they
isn't that Billy Horschel?
So yeah, right. You're close actually. So this is a lot like the NFL in that very, very few people, very few, bet on one game every Sunday. And there's a reason why.
I mean, it's hard to get.
If you lose,
it's
one game, you lose. Whereas if you bet on 5 and you win 3, you win something.
It sounds like you're making excuses for why you're not going to be able to pick the winner.
Anyway, so I go through this and I play a lot of top 10 and win bets.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 11 guys that I throw into the mix. Right. Well, there's 150 guys. I have 11 guys.
But don't we know that like 100 of them can't win?
That's part of the game. That's the fun of it. I think it's very difficult to bet against Scheffler. Problem is, he's 8-1. So you're not making anything.
I mean,
on
8-1 in a normal world is pretty good odds.
But if you're going to bet $50 on him to win,
yeah, I mean, you'd win $400. That sounds like pretty good to me.
You're not just betting on him. You're betting on other guys too. I like him.
Could you just tell me who's going to win?
Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh, thank you very much. Now, who is Tommy?
25-1.
Is that just because he's British?
No, he's playing. He's played very, very well. He played very well last week in Scotland and didn't win, which is a good sign to me. I do think Rory, I know everybody dismisses Rory because you can't win 2 weeks in a row, or it's hard to win 2 weeks in a row. And it is. If anyone could do it, though, he could do it.
Okay.
It would be different if, like, last week, let's say, Justin Rose would have won the Scottish Open. He's not winning again.
That would have been wild.
He's not winning again.
Okay.
If Danny Willett would have won last week, he's not winning 2 weeks in a row. McIlroy's one of the rare guys that could do it. I also really like Colin Morikawa, who has not had a great year, but this golf course and the way it's going to be set up will be really good for him.
He won one of these things.
He did.
Before. I know that.
So,
I actually like that prediction a lot.
Tommy Fleetwood, is his dad proud of him or ashamed he didn't follow into his footsteps and join the music field and be
one of the Beatles?
Yeah,
right. So I'm going to give you these 5 guys.
I mean, Mick, was Mick a golfer too? Or?
I'm going to give you. You can't not bet on Scheffler.
Okay.
I really like, even though he doesn't look Australian, I like Minwoo Lee a lot, whose odds are huge, like 50-1, which is crazy. I like Minwoo Lee. I like Scheffler. I like Fleetwood. I like Colin Morikawa. And if you wanted me to give you one sort of semi-dark horse, weird winner, like Justin Leonard was a weird winner once and nobody thought about, I would give you Corey Connors. I think he putting is what really, he almost won the PGA, but putting is what holds him back. And these are the simplest, easiest greens in the entire rotation of the British Open. And if Connors has a really good ball striking week, he could win just because he's got a bunch of flat 10-foot birdie putts. So I like him as a little bit of an off-the-radar stream. Somebody who's never won one before.
All right.
Some of it just depends on the weather, too, like in terms of the weather draw. Some guys play in the morning, the weather's fine. They get out in the afternoon, it's blowing 30 miles an hour, or vice versa. And you don't know how
the weather's fine in England in July. I don't think that's ever happened.
But I'm saying is it can. It's like here. It can be summer and then in an hour it rains and it's fall, right? Like it. So some of it does depend on what you get from the weather draw, and there's no controlling that. But I like Fleetwood.
All right, there you go.
I feel like this is his time.
And if you're going to bet on it, what I would encourage you to do first is go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers. Get $150 in bonus bets from DraftKings after you place your first $5 bet. See that and other great sportsbook offers, again, right now at PressBoxOnline.com/offers.
I got to go soon. What do we have? Anything else?
We are going to play Would You Rather
pick
Wednesday.
Ethan up.
We'll let you play Would You Rather Wednesday.
Ethan will be 16 in 2 weeks. He can start driving himself.
You know what's surprising about that is that math doesn't seem to work.
But I'm not letting him drive.
But then I saw him
ever,
and he looks like he's 40. So
no doubt.
looks
like he's 22.
Somewhere between those two things. Would You Rather Wednesday brought to you by Birdland Sports. If you participate, you can win a shirt of your choice from our friends at Birdland Sports.
Let me know when they do a good one. It's the end of my 4th cup here. I'm really getting agitated now. Actually, the Batista one's good.
Come to your house and chew gum.
Right.
Would you rather? He's not coming to the Orioles. Would you rather? Save yours,
sure.
Zach. You and I will get into it in the second hour of the program, all right? Would you rather? What?
That ought to be good.
All right. Would you rather Shohei Ohtani is dealt to the Yankees or is dealt to the Rays?
Yankees. Because I don't think they're winning, no matter what.
Okay.
I don't think Judge is coming back. I really don't. And if he does, he's not going to be anywhere near. I just kind of think they're done.
All right.
I think they're just hanging on. I don't want him to go to the Rays. He could push the Rays over the top.
All right. Next, would you rather? There are 2 trades that the Orioles could make. I ran them both through the machine. I understand the machine is not Bible, The first one was suggested by Jeremy Kahn. He wants the Orioles to trade for the combo of Jordan Montgomery and Paul Goldschmidt.
Okay. Yes,
to
to
both. Cardinals. The Cardinals have not said that they would trade Paul Goldschmidt. They have, however, said they would listen.
Okay.
Goldschmidt still has another year, by the way, past this season.
And he's
Montgomery
35?
I was going to say 36, but we can double-check on that.
He's still got a couple of good
quick.
years left.
Paul Goldschmidt is 35. Look at you. But he'll be 36 in September.
Yeah, but he's 35 now.
Yeah, but we're both kind of right.
But he's 35
but we're
now.
both kind of right. So the point is...
How old's he now?
This trade that worked in the machine had the Orioles sending Joey Ortiz and Judd Fabian for Montgomery and Goldschmidt. So that's trade option number 1.
Okay.
Trade option number 2, two guys that are both rentals.
I wish we could get the Cardinals uniforms.
The Orioles would trade Connor Norby for Josh Hader and Seth Lugo.
So I talked about this last week as much as it pains me because he went to Old Mill. I'd really like Hader. But, boy, I would love to see Goldschmidt here. I'd be more interested in Goldschmidt than Montgomery, honestly. I'd probably do the first one.
Okay. Number 3, would you rather? The Orioles indeed decide they need a 13th pitcher after Cole Irvin had to give him a ton of innings last night. They DFA Mateo, or they send a struggling Colton Cowser back down. 3 for his first
325, right?
27.
3 for his first 27. It ain't so easy there as a kid. I probably would send him back down.
Okay.
Before I would give up on Mateo. I've already given up on Mateo.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't play Mateo at all. That said, when it's 3-3 and the top of the 10th inning, you shove him out there to second base and let him. He's going to score on a single. Or if it's 3-3 in the bottom of the 9th and you lead off with a double, you ship him out there and let him run around the bases.
Mm-hmm.
I would keep Mateo as long as I could keep him until I have to get rid of him. But I have washed myself of him as a player.
Okay.
He is making no contribution other than his speed and his glove. If it's 4-3 in the top of the 9th and you want to throw him in there to make sure that no ground balls get through the infield. But as a baseball player, I'm done with him. But But Cowser is really struggling, and he does look. I mean, we did this earlier in the year with Gunnar Henderson, right?
Exactly right.
A
lot of guys
7 for
this.
18 spell changes everything
all of a sudden.
But I would say, this is not the word anybody wants to hear, right? He does look a little overmatched.
Okay. All right. And then finally, yesterday we learned something on this program that disturbed me a great deal.
Okay.
So we were doing a bit that involved our intern, young Carson, having to eat a banana.
Okay.
And I want you to see how it is that he ate this banana. I made a GIF of it. This is how...
Well, this is the kid from Loyola.
Yeah, this is the kid from Loyola.
Well, that explains
Unfortunately, it says my name there.
It does.
Yesterday, I couldn't figure it out.
I did in the tweet, however, say, not Zach.
But that explains that explains the whole thing.
That's how you think everyone at Loyola eats.
All right, so wait a minute. What's he doing?
He picks up the banana.
He doesn't really eat the banana like a slice of pizza, though.
He eats the banana like it's a corn on the cob.
I mean, that's what I meant to say.
Yes.
Same thing.
That's legitimately
Pizza.
how
he doesn't.
This is a straight shoot. I went back in the video, found the exact moment he picked up a banana, and this is how he consumes it.
Well, keep in mind, he'd never eaten a banana
Now,
before this moment.
He informs us that he had never consumed a banana before.
In his life?
In his life.
That's his allegation. All right? I want you to
Well,
see that.
What planets he been on?
Thank you. We went through all. Your reaction is extraordinarily similar to what my reaction was yesterday. It brought the show
Are you
to
a human
screeching
being?
halt. That's it. I've never eaten a banana before. Have you ever seen a human being eat a banana before? It's bizarre. All right. So stay with me.
Okay.
Stay with me.
They don't have bananas at Ole Miss.
No wonder he's not back.
Yeah, what it is, they don't do that.
Yeah, they don't have those.
I've been to Ole Miss. I'll tell you what they do have.
Yeah. They got a few things.
Oh.
Yeah, they do.
Guys that ask girls about DJ Stewart.
Is that what it is?
Probably a few of those.
I've never seen a campus like it.
It is lovely. It is a lovely campus.
It's
a very lovely
There
campus.
is no question in my mind. I know this is illegal, but they don't care.
Yeah.
There is no question in my mind you have to pass a looks test to get in.
I don't think that you are wrong
They
about
get a
that.
picture of you and they go, nope,
Lovely,
you're on the wait list.
Lovely campus. So would you rather, you got to go back to a younger age.
Okay.
You're on a first date, right?
Okay.
You're hitting it off, right?
Oh.
Like you're having great conversation. Maybe you went and played, putt or went to Topgolf or something. You're having a great time. You're
Okay.
like, man, this could be something.
Right, this is happening.
Then you get to dinner.
Okay.
And you either find out the person is an extraordinarily picky eater.
Okay.
Like, extraordinarily.
Okay.
Borderlines on a salesperson that we used to know at the radio station that
Just
doesn't exist
a loser.
anymore. Easy over there. Okay. Or they eat all of their food in extraordinarily strange ways, like young Carson eats a banana.
I mean, if I'm with
Like they pick up a piece of pizza and they eat it from the side. Or
if
something.
I'm with anyone, male or female, that eats a banana like that, I'm asking you to leave. I'm asking you to leave the
I
table.
don't understand.
Date or not. If we're somewhere and you eat a banana, if I'm on a date with you and you pick up a banana and eat it like that, you have to leave. And pick up a check.
This is someone from Ole Miss.
And
This is an attractive person.
You got to go.
This is someone who has a lot of things going for them. You've been hitting it off with them.
Yeah. Well,
and that's
you're leaving out one other key component, but we won't get into that.
What's that?
Well, just how far along has the relationship progressed?
No, it's the first date. I said you're hitting it off.
Yeah,
Things are going well, but
I don't know anything else about her.
But you'll live with. You go out to a restaurant and she says, "I'll have the chicken fingers." You'll live with that.
If you eat a banana like that,
you'll live with that.
Yes. If you eat a banana like that, you got to go.
I got some questions about you.
You got to go.
I got some. It's weird. But
Where is Carson at today?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I really want Carson to be interrogated by this guy.
Oh God, it's so sad, so pathetic. All right, Would You Rather Wednesday. We'll get back into it in a minute. Get your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Fairways and Greens on Sunday.
Yes. Yes.
You're not doing it?
No. British Open. Yeah, I'll be there.
What time does the British Open?
It'll end at 2. Coverage ends at 2. The tournament should end right around 1:30 or so.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I'll probably just sit in with you for a while.
I will not be there on Sunday,
Oh.
so you won't do that.
What are you doing Sunday?
I'm going to the beach.
No, but who's doing the show?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
I should ask Chuck if I can do.
Yeah, right. You might want to
Can I
ask
do
about
2
that.
hours?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you
Let me ask
what
Chuck.
the story is for Sunday. You guys can handle that yourselves because it won't involve me. I'll be at the beach. Okay, so that's Sunday and Drew'sMorningDish.com. Anything going on there?
Yeah, lots of good stuff.
He was about to say no.
No, lots of good
don't
stuff.
Don't go to my website.
No,
There's
go.
Nothing happened.
There's a lot of good stuff.
I said anything going on there. He said, nah, not really.
No, we're good.
Kinda
We're talking
boring,
Orioles, you know.
Is that what you're doing over there?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And British Open.
It's good because nobody else is doing that. We needed somewhere. We needed
All right, I got to go.
somewhere.
See you Sunday. Oh, good luck at the beach.
Thanks. Is Ethan okay?
Ethan's good.
All right. Just want to make sure he's all right. Thanks, pal. Yeah, that is true. The 16-year-olds have a way of doing things. All right, there you go. That's Drew Forrester, Drew'sMorningDish.com. You can swing the camera back around now.
Will do.
And why don't we make sure we lock the door so he can't come back?
Yeah, you know
Why
what?
don't we make sure that there's no option? I'm kidding.
I was gonna say it was nice to see you again, but I'm not sure he'd.
Oh, yeah, he already doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know if Drew, he was in here for what, 50 minutes? I guarantee he doesn't know what my name is.
Oh, not a chance.
There's not a chance.
Not a chance
No.
in all hell. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I probably should lock the door.
When I was making that GIF of Carson eating the banana.
It's my fault.
Yeah, that you left your name on there.
Yeah,
Like, I felt bad for you that your name is associated with that moment.
Thank God.
It's one of the most disturbing things. By the way, rewatching that last night gave me
just disturbed you.
A level of the creeps that I'm not sure I've ever felt before. It gave me a
It's
level
actually,
of the creeps.
when you zoomed in on it too.
Yeah.
It's worse than I remembered.
He stalks it for a second.
Yeah, he looks at it. He's like, what is this thing?
Yeah, right. What
Because
is this?
They don't serve those in
so disturbing on every
at Ole
level.
Miss.
I got a bunch of feedback about this segment, and I just stand by. My reaction was guttural. My reaction was I was disturbed by the banana.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been enough content alone for
Sure.
the segment, was just how disturbing looking this banana was. But what happened is abominable. Like,
I don't disagree. Well, I think you, at this point, have to test Carson on how many foods he's actually eaten before, because then we can try to see what he hasn't eaten, clearly never eaten a banana.
See if he knows how to eat it.
Right, see if he just knows how to eat it.
Do you know how to eat a strawberry?
So you can
know how to eat a...
You can call the segment, Does Carson Know?
Does Carson know how to eat this food?
We can get a theme music for it, probably played by Eric Clapton.
Yes, correct. It's available. Just a couple of bucks.
Right.
Just throw it out there. See if you can't get him to do a song. It is truly disturbing. All right, we can go ahead and call Sal. That's all right. And
sounds good to me.
We'll get the other breaks in during the course of the 11 a.m. hour. Hour number 1 of today's show is in the books. It was brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Very special issue for us is on the cover, a tremendous story from Dave Ginsburg celebrating the life and legacy of the great Tony Siragusa and how his family is working to keep his legacy going via the Goose Flights program. So we'd really encourage you to pick it up. It has been a very popular issue of Press Box. It has flown off of newsstands. You can go get it right now. Again, at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of those hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. Read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. And don't forget that your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com are a big part of what we do here. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. Orioles and Dodgers wrapping up their series with an afternoon game today. Orioles trying to avoid their first sweep since Adley Rutschman came up, which alone does not mean everything, but it's not nothing either. Would be nice to avoid the sweep. Let's be honest about that. It would be really nice if that were to be the case. Orioles will send Dean Kramer, the former Dodgers farmhand, who, of course, was acquired in the Manny Machado trade 5 years ago yesterday. Dean Kramer goes for the Birds against Julio Urias in the finale, 1 o'clock. And then the only good news of the last couple of days, of course, has been that the Orioles haven't lost any ground because the Rays have been playing the Rangers, and the Rangers have been handling their business. So the Orioles still remain within one game of the Rays. And, of course, that's with a massive 4-game series looming this weekend in St. Petersburg. So I don't know what's going on. Let's do this. Let's grab a break, and we'll see if we can't get things straightened out. All right? Something's going on. Something weird is happening.
Our phones are just not working.
No idea what it is.
I call him on the cell. It works fine.
Very weird.
He can't hear me.
Very weird.
I'm going to have you call him and try to figure this out.
Well, yeah, we'll do something else. We're going to grab a break, and we're going to try to track down Sal Paolantonio. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Hike to new heights. The best view is yours in Washington County. Our iconic scenic overlooks provide some of the most breathtaking vistas in the Mid-Atlantic. Some are very easy walks, some can be driven to, and some are the payoff for a moderate to difficult hike. All are near quaint small towns that offer great dining, shopping, hiking gear, and more. Explore our 5 national parks for iconic vistas and wineries with breathtaking views. Visit our quaint historic towns and make your stay unforgettable. Learn more at visithagerstown.com. Maryland, be open.
Maryland drivers, did you know you can save up to 77% on tolls with an Easy Pass Maryland discount plan? That's right, 77%. It's never been easier. Pick the plan that's right for you at driveezmd.com. We'll keep you moving.
It's a Maryland thing you wouldn't understand. Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the eastern shore where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah.
The All-America Senior Game powered by New Balance will be back at Johns Hopkins Homewood Field on July 29th. The most decorated girls and boys lacrosse players in the country have been invited to play in what is the premier lacrosse event of the year. Every college coach wants their players in this game, and if you dream of being in this game, you start by trying out for one of your regional underclass teams this summer. The best against the best. Get your tickets now at allamericalacrosse.com.
Your summer destination is closer than you think at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. With an expansive gaming floor and incredible dining options ready for you to explore, your adventure awaits. Dine at the new Coho Korean Barbecue House coming in July or on the patio at the Prime Rib. Enjoy the summertime breeze at Orchid Smoking Patio. Limited time packages starting at $229. What are you waiting for? Book now. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Costas Inn has been serving up delicious steamed crabs for over 50 years. Lately, the crabs you want to eat when the weather warms up have gotten harder and harder to get. So get your crab eating game plan in place. Make sure to stick this number on your fridge, 410-477-1975. Call ahead and reserve the size crabs you want. You may be able to walk in, but you may also be disappointed at the size or maybe even get shut out altogether. So call ahead, have a plan, and then arrive on your crab eating vacation. Costas also has delicious crab soup and crab cakes. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. For more than 50 years, they've been satisfying crab lovers in and around Baltimore.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Check out PressBoxOnline.com every day to find daily winners and betting advice from Jeremy Kahn. And if you want some advice about life decisions that you probably shouldn't make, here's Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here in GCR. We've run into a bit of a technological issue. These things happen. It's okay. It's okay.
I feel responsible.
Zach is very worked up.
I feel responsible.
He's in here producing the show, and so he doesn't. He's like, oh God.
You know, one time I made the power go out at the Baltimore place. Do you remember that?
That's not. I don't remember that.
Oh yeah,
I
was in with Kyle one time.
Okay.
And I was learning from him.
Oh, the cord.
Yeah,
my
chair.
That was a bad setup. That was not.
Well,
it was a wrong way to go about setting up a studio. It's okay. Everything's gonna be all right.
We'll get it figured out.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna buy ourselves a couple minutes here. So this is where we pull the curtain back. I told you that we're gonna have an interview with Ethan Pecko, former Towson pitcher who was drafted by the Astros. The good news is, because of his schedule working with the Astros, we actually had to do that earlier. We had to record that conversation. So this is the magic of radio, in this case streaming radio. We can do that now. And while you guys listen to our interview with Ethan Pecko, I'll have an opportunity to work on solving this problem. Look at how these things go. And
that works out well.
Hopefully, we'll still have time to chat with Sal Paolantonio. If we don't, life will go on. It's a promise. But Ethan Pecko joined us right here on GCR. Well, it's a pleasure now to be joined here on GCR by a man whose life just changed dramatically last week. He came from Towson, and now he's a part of the Houston Astros system as he was selected very early in the MLB draft. It is a pleasure for us to be joined by Ethan Pecko, who is with us now here on GCR. Ethan, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Ethan, take me through. You show up at Towson 2 years ago, or not even really 2 years ago, right at this point, 2 seasons ago. At that point,
2 seasons ago.
Like, where were you as far as your belief, your confidence, your knowledge that you were still very much on the path that you wanted to be on?
Well, it was a difficult path, and it definitely was very filled with uncertainties, but I still had the confidence in my ability to get healthy again and perform like I did this year. And I kind of just had to remind myself to be patient and continue sticking to the process.
It didn't take you long to get into the rotation at Towson. Let me go back to that moment. So you had started at LaSalle. Why was it that Towson was the right place for you in order to take that next step in this process?
Okay, so I'll break it down a little bit. So LaSalle, obviously freshman year, had committed there. Love all the guys that were there. It was a great program, but unfortunately my fall, September, we were online, COVID, and the program had gotten cut. At the same time, I was undergoing elbow discomfort, had Tommy John in February. Our coach, David Miller, had given me some options, but when I talked to Tyner and visited the school, I just felt like it was the right place for me to get back healthy with the facilities and trainers that they had, and it just felt like a really good fit for me.
Okay. Well, look, by the way, hindsight, it turns out it was all right. Like, it turns out.
It was a great fit, great fit.
Yeah.
I can't thank my head coach Matt Tyner enough for taking a chance on me, and it paid dividends for me.
What did, like, it click for you this season? What you go through 2022, and then you come into this year, you had dealt with the injury, everything that you had been through. What clicked for you this year that you were able to start gearing up to put yourself in this position?
I think I got back to who I was as a person and who I was as a pitcher. It's a long season, it's a long year. You go through the process, and I felt super comfortable this year, and it was every time I went out there, I just looked to get better each week, and that's kind of the same mindset I've had. But I was definitely more comfortable this year and just had a lot of trust and confidence in my ability.
He is Ethan Pecko, 6th-round pick of the Houston Astros from Towson. He is with us here on GCR. Ethan, was there a moment for you that, like, you felt like, okay, this is going to carry me. I'm going to be able to do this moving forward as a pro towards the big leagues? Maybe it even was before you arrived. Like, was there a moment for you that you look back on, and that was the moment where it struck you, like, this isn't just something I'm doing for fun. This is my life. This is what it is that I'm going to be doing for years to come.
Yeah, definitely. I know throughout the season I had some strong outings and then some not so strong outings, but I knew that if I put it all together, I could really do this and do it for a long time. I want to say there was a couple great outings, but that last weekend we had won our first series. I pitched the final game of the year, and it just felt like this is what I'm meant to do, and I can do it for a long time.
Obviously, you're not the only one that feels that way as it works out.
Yeah.
Ethan, the 6th round of the draft, that's a pretty big deal to go that early. Can you take me through what that moment is like to get that phone call, to realize that, like, oh my gosh, it's all coming together. This is happening for me.
Yeah, you really never know leading up to it. A lot of things can happen. Programs can look to a different guy. Organizations can be in until the last moment. They get a different guy. I knew about 20 picks before the Astros pick that they had me locked in, but I definitely had to just see it and see it to believe it. And when my name got called, it was just a relief and so many emotions, but definitely pure happiness.
Okay, so, like, can you possibly describe that to us? Like, do you allow yourself to, like, wipe a tear away? Do you allow yourself, like, what do you actually release when you experience something like that?
Oh, it's tough. It's such a indescribable moment. You dream about it your whole life as a kid, and it just takes you back through your whole career. You kind of just, a split second, you just see everything that's led to this moment. And it's super incredible. It's honestly really hard to describe.
Yeah.
But I told my parents that night and the past couple of days and even now I'm sitting here smiling. It was hard to wipe a smile off my face.
It's awesome.
When you get to that moment and you just achieve what you've always wanted to achieve.
Did you have anyone who, and not like purposefully, but I'm going to, let me compare something. When I was a freshman in college, I was at the beach that summer with some friends. And this is, 20 plus years ago. I had a buddy who walked in and was like, "Hey man, I just got drafted." And I was like, "What?" And I just had no idea. Like, I knew he was a baseball player. I knew he was good. I had no idea that was his world. And I, like, completely no-sold it. I'm just like, "Oh, cool, man." Like, 'cause I just didn't know it was that big of a deal at the time. Did you have anyone in your life that, like, you're on cloud 9, you're experiencing anything, and then you pass it along to them, and they're just like, "Oh man, cool, man, good for you." Like, did you have anyone that no-sold the fact that you had just been selected by the Houston Astros in the 6th round?
It's actually kind of vice versa.
Okay.
So I knew I put myself in a great position to get selected, but I felt like this was always something that was going to happen.
Okay.
I love this game. I love this sport. Humbly, I don't mean to be that kind of guy, but it was great. I had a lot of family, friends that were just ecstatic for me and super excited for me, and that love really brought out some more emotions in me, and I kind of realized that, hey, this is a big deal.
Wow.
Like, you achieve something great, celebrate it, and then get back to work.
Like, it means even more to them than it might mean to you, and that, like, wow, that is, phew, dude, that's powerful. That is really powerful. Ethan,
Awesome.
So I know you've had the opportunity to get down and already kind of get your feet wet. Tell me about what you knew about it's the Houston Astros that we're talking about, right? Like, it's only been one of the most successful organizations in all of baseball for a very long time now. What's it been like getting to know them, and do you have do you start to understand what it is that they are looking for you to focus on as you make this transition?
Yeah, I mean, right away, I kind of just understand why they are so good at what they do.
Yeah.
They're just super welcoming. Everything's directed towards making you a professional baseball player, whatever highest level that is. Obviously, the major leagues, but they're just, everything they do is for your own best interests, and they make you feel like family. So far, we've done a lot, and I can tell already it's going to be a great however many years, and I'm just super excited to go in every day to the facility, see my other fellow draftees, and it's just really family-like and hard work driven towards a goal of becoming a professional baseball player.
Ethan, you mentioned the credit that you give Coach Tyner. You're still coming from a place where there's only been a handful, right, of guys that have been able to go on and reach the major leagues. And, of course, Richie Palacios most recently, Bruce Zimmerman right here in Baltimore, Casper Wells before that. Do you have a sense for now, like, how big of a deal this is for the Towson baseball community and, like, the opportunity that you have to represent this program and to achieve goals and to be an example for a next group of guys about what they can accomplish if they choose to come to Towson? Like, has that part of this hit you yet?
I would say at first, not really, but it's definitely slowly starting to hit me. I think Towson is a great location for baseball players that want to go there and look to play professional baseball. I know that I'm in a position now with my age and obviously 6th-round draft pick that I can put Towson baseball on the map in a sense and really just help the program move forward and become that powerhouse baseball program in Maryland. So I'm super excited to do that in whichever way, shape, or form I can. And like I said, I can't thank Towson, the coaches there, enough for giving me the opportunity, and now it's time for me to pay it forward.
It's not – I don't even know how much you know about this, but we're not that far removed. Like, it wasn't, much more than a decade ago that there was a point at which Towson baseball's future was not guaranteed. There was a time where it was on the chopping block to be gone as a program.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know a thing or two about that. Do you have a sense for, like, how much your life might be different had you not had the opportunity to come and spend these last couple of seasons at Towson?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Matt Tyner, he was one of two to really give me a shot after COVID, program cut, no freshman year, surgery, and I can't thank him enough. And it's awesome coming from a place that was cut.
Yeah.
To see that they did rebound, get the program back, and now that I know I can help the program achieve great things, it's really special, and it just feels like it's come full circle because I was at a program that got cut, and then I went to a program that was cut but saved. So it's really just come full circle, and now I just look to do my best in pro ball, but also help Towson at the same time.
That's awesome, man. All right, is there anyone – I know you're not getting, like, a huge bonus, anything like that, but, like, you are a professional baseball player now. Is there any one thing that you kind of want to treat yourself to now as a professional?
Not quite. I want to get rid of some of this debt. I won't lie. I want to get rid of some of this debt. But I'll save my big purchase for a second contract, hopefully.
Exactly right.
We'll keep it to clothes and some accessories, but we'll wait.
Yeah,
we'll definitely wait.
You need that major league money to come in before you really treat yourself. Oh, God, that sounds like every other kid that's coming out of college right now. Yeah, I just got to work on this debt. Like, that's the way it goes, bro.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Ethan, man, it's so happy for you. What an awesome story of your own perseverance and the belief that you had in yourself. I know it's at Ethan Pecko on Twitter. What about on Instagram? Where can Towson fans be giving you a follow?
Same thing, at Ethan
Just
Pecko.
Ethan Pecko. Perfect. Ethan, we'll say it. We'll be as truthful as we can. As long as you stay in that system, we'll root for you just as long as you're not facing the Orioles. All right? That's the way that it goes. We want to see your success every other time you pitch. Congratulations, man. Awesome thing. And look forward to seeing what's next for you. We'll be in touch. Thank you for spending the time with us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was great.
Sorry, that's Ethan Pecko, former Towson Tiger, now part of the Houston Astros system. Appreciate him taking the time for us as he gets his pro career underway. Best laid plans of mice and men. This is, unfortunately, sometimes the way that it goes when you run a small business and you have a staff of 2 people here, and we also have to do a show at the same time. Got a technology issue that we're dealing with that probably can be fixed. Maybe even easy to fix.
But it certainly doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, it wasn't easy enough to fix that we could do it even in the span of 15 minutes when we had 15 minutes to try to fix it. So my sincerest apologies to Sal Paolantonio, who is the nicest human being alive and has gone out of his way for me on so many occasions.
Yeah, he is a great guy.
Hopefully we can make that up, whether that's another day or another show or I don't know. Well, hopefully we can make that up because I love Sal. It's not going to work this morning, unfortunately. Now we have a bigger problem because we have things scheduled for the rest of the week, so we got to get this fixed today. So what we're going to do is Zach and I are going to finish today's show, and then I'll work on trying to get that fixed in time for tomorrow is going to be the plan. That's what I'm looking at here as we have a phone-related issue that doesn't prevent us from being able to do the show, but just prevents us from being able to call somebody.
Pretty big part of the show.
Which is an important part
pretty
of
big.
Typically doing the show every day. So that's just the reality of the circumstances. I wish I could change it, but alas, that's not the case. Let's you and I dive back into Would You Rather Wednesday. Let's do that. Would You Rather Wednesday brought to you by Birdland Sports. Birdlandsports.com, of course, is the website. They got a bunch of new stuff this week that you can go find there. And someone who participates in Would You Rather Wednesday will be registered to win a shirt or item of their choice from birdlandsports.com. So all you got to do, at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. All of the scenarios are available there. Just get in. If you respond to even one of them, you are registered to win on Would You Rather Wednesday. Would you rather... Tongue twisted. Would you rather Wednesday number 1. Would you rather? It's not going to be that Shohei Ohtani is an Oriole no matter how much Ken Rosenthal suggests that the Orioles should be all in.
Yes.
And I'm not going to waver. It ain't happening. Again, until somebody tells me the price has crashed, I just think there's always going to be a team that's more likely to say, we'll give you everything we've got than the Orioles.
I totally agree. I don't want to paint the Orioles as prospect hoarders, but we haven't.
It's not even to me about hoarding necessarily. It's about
we just have no proof otherwise that they're going to make a deal like this.
Okay, let me take a step back. When it's said that way, it sounds like you're saying, this is what teams should be willing. I don't even know that it's smart for a team to do this. What I would say is, if the price was lesser prospects, I'll talk. If somebody comes to me and says, you can do an Ohtani deal, again, as I brought up earlier, for Kjerstad, Prieto, Povich, and Johnson, or Kjerstad, Prieto, Ortiz, and Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm getting that done.
I'm still, it makes me nervous as hell to give up Heston Kjerstad, but I'm inclined to consider it.
I'll be honest. There's 2 guys, again, out of those group of guys we talked about that I'm a little nervous about giving up, and that's really Heston Kjerstad and Colton Cowser. Those are the 2 guys. Jordan Westburg, I'm comfortable with that.
I'm not. You and I are going to separate here.
Connor Norby makes me comfortable.
Norby, of course, right? You're saying that you think that you can have Jordan Westburg and Connor Norby?
Right. I'm saying that if you trade one of them, the other one makes me comfortable with that trade.
Let me go back and say it the same way. I don't think I could do Westberg alone for any rental. I don't.
Okay.
I'd need some control on.
So
Westberg
you clearly
for Westberg.
value Westberg more than Kauser and Kjerstad.
I value, in a similar way. I think part of the problem for me is seeing someone come up and succeed at the major league level.
Okay. No, I
which
guess
doesn't guarantee that that's going to continue to be that way for forever, but seeing the success already in comparison to someone who hasn't. And that will always it will always make me say, hard to give up on that.
Right. I think we're
but not impossible. I just said, earlier, if that Burns deal was on the table, I'm listening because again, control is the ultimate. It's got to be extraordinary for me to do a rental. And again, the argument is Ohtani is always extraordinary,
Sure.
right? God, we'll get back to I'm sorry.
And by the way, to me,
these are two separate conversations.
Joey Ortiz is 100% tradable. 100%.
I completely agree
I'm not
with that.
backing down from that. Oh, I think there are some people who would back down even with that and saying, I wouldn't trade Joey Ortiz.
I think in a lot of organizations he wouldn't be tradable, but here he
Maybe
almost
right.
has to be a tradable.
Again, I think what they've done with Ortiz very early on and the amount of moves they've already made with him, the fact that he hasn't really played when he's been at the major league level, they're showing their hand with Joey Ortiz.
I don't disagree that there's just not a spot for him.
Not even as that. I don't know if they think he's the hitter that MLB Pipeline does.
That's okay, or that his numbers say that he is. Like, there's two different conversations going on there, right? Like, I think they value other guys more than they value Joey Ortiz.
Undoubtedly, yeah.
But I also think it's a complicated. I don't know what this would look like somewhere else. I don't know exactly. It's a whole we're going down a rabbit hole right now. The point is, at a price, if the price crashes, let's talk. If the price is Westberg and Kjerstad, forget it. The conversation to me ends.
Yeah, not two of them.
If you want two prime prospects, I'm not doing that for any rental, even Shohei Ohtani.
But Kjerstad and Ortiz, I'm willing to
I absolutely
very much entertain
a
that.
price that involves one prize prospect and then a group of guys after that, depth guys, we can talk. I'm not saying I'm gung-ho, but I'm willing, right? If the price is, again, one prime prospect and then anything else.
I do really think it's interesting, though, the comments you made on the two pitching prospects in Johnson and Povich, being that they are miles better than the other pitching prospects in this organization. I guess you can include Pinto in that conversation.
Sure,
and if you want to call Grayson a prospect, I'm not sure that's...
you're separating. Grayson's here, and
if you still
else.
call him a prospect, which
but
I don't
Drew Rom
really...
is in that conversation. I understand. See, I understand, but this is what you have. Like,
no, you're right.
This is the reality of
right.
the circumstances. The part of what we're saying is you don't have anything. I understand, but you only have what you have. Like, that's the reality of it. You can't now. Hopefully, Kyle Bradish is in this rotation for a few more years to come and has solved part of that solution, right? And none of these guys are going to be top of the rotation pitchers, except maybe, hopefully, Grayson Rodriguez could prove to be that guy.
And even Kyle Bradish, I think, is
Bradish
somewhat
is certainly
there.
leaning towards being
He's
a top
like
of the rotation
teetering
pitcher.
between a 2 and a 1.
You're hoping that you've got another couple of years of Tyler Wells. You're hoping that Dean Kramer is stabilizing and becoming the guy that you want him to be, and that's 3/5 of a rotation alone right there. If Grayson Rodriguez is a 4th, 5th, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. But there's hope, and then there's, guys are still going to get hurt, and that's the way things are going to go.
Yeah.
I think counting on it and saying, well, you can gut any other starting pitching prospect that you might have, I'm not comfortable with doing it.
Okay.
But I get it. I understand, and there is a trade-off, and you can always use other prospects. Even making this type of trade doesn't clean you out of prospects within your system.
No.
I'm talking about a deal that doesn't even involve a Connor Norby. You could always try to use a Connor Norby in the offseason to go get more starting pitching help, right? Like, there's plenty of things that you can do. But to trade for any rental, there has to be a limit to me of what it is that I'm giving up. Has to be.
Agreed.
As good as that player is, or telling me it's really two players, there's got to be a limit to what it is that I'm giving up.
For sure.
And so there's no realistic scenario by which I think that works to get Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if that changes, if it's all of a sudden Prieto and Povich and Ortiz and one of these guys, or it's Prieto, Povich, Mountcastle, and Kauser, we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We'll absolutely talk about that. That is. I'll do that for Shohei Ohtani.
Honestly, I don't want to put this in a completely negative way, but I would be willing in many ways, in almost 5 or 6 different trade scenarios I could come up with my head, to throw in Ryan Mountcastle.
I understand your feelings.
I don't, he had 2 big hits the other night, and you see some flashes of him being the guy he was in the minor leagues, but I'm not really buying him being a productive Baltimore Oriole for the next few years.
I don't disagree with you, but this always to me goes back to the the prime prospect. Like, I'm separating.
Sure, I agree.
I'm putting Westberg.
You're not putting 2 of them in the same trade. That's what you're saying.
In this group, Westberg, Mayo, Kjerstad, Cowser. Of that group is to me the prime prospects,
and maybe even a guy like, well, obviously Holiday.
But Holiday's untouchable.
But maybe
I can't even have
maybe
Holiday's
even
over here.
A Samuel Basayo.
Yeah, I'm not I understand the thought, but Basayo goes back into this category he's in that second group.
Okay.
If Basayo, I'll throw it out there. If it were one of the first group, then Basayo, Prieto, and Povich, I'll do that, right?
See, I think you got to separate though Povich and Johnson into their own separate group because of again how thin this pitching
I
staff
understand.
could be.
And so you're saying you wouldn't want to throw both of them in there,
right? Not definitely not both. I'd maybe entertain one. It probably wouldn't be Povich. It would probably be Johnson. But again,
I don't want to, but I might if it allows me to keep more of the prime guys, because the prime guys I can use to go get pitching.
Yes.
Like, that's the reality. In the offseason, I can go to take one of these prime guys and go get somebody I'm more confident with in starting pitching wise. But I just can't. The conversation cannot include more than one of Westberg, Mayo, Kjerstad, Cowser. One of those guys tops.
Right.
And I don't think you can get Shohei Ohtani without going more than one of those guys. But if you can, we'll have that conversation when we have it.
One last thing about this. I know you don't want to drag on this segment too much here, but I do think that the Angels are going to start with Holiday. They're going to mention him because we are talking about a generational two-way superstar that does everything you could ever ask. So I do think Holiday will be the start of the conversation.
And that's where the conversation ends.
And
you know
maybe there's another team maybe the Tampa Bay Rays, who have Junior Campanera.
Yeah, and are so convinced that this could be their best chance ever to win a World Series. It's very un-Rays-like, by the way, and it'll come back to Would You Rather Wednesday and what we were asking. But they're so convinced that this is their opportunity to win a World Series, they're willing to do it.
Caminero, I should say his name correctly. He is the number 2 prospect in baseball by most accounts. A guy who right now in the minor leagues is hitting 356. Or sorry, that was in A+, but he still has over this year a 324, 380, 577 slash line. The kid's really good. He's really good. And maybe the Rays say, hey,
where is he on the top prospect list?
I believe for Pipeline he's number 2.
2?
But I could be that might be higher than I'm going to check.
Okay. I mean that's it'd be a heck of a price for them to pay, but if they think if this is to them in their world, their moment, then
I lied. He's not that high.
He's not in the top.
He's number 14.
He's 14.
So he's number 14.
Okay, 14.
Yeah.
Yep.
But number 2 is Jackson Chourio, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yep.
And obviously a Brewer, not a guy who is probably going to be traded for Ohtani, given that the Brewers are not going to be the team.
The Brewers won't be trading.
No.
None of these top prospects, could you make an argument that the Diamondbacks could say, we don't want to go all in and throw in Jordan Lawler?
You know what? I'm not sure that... I'm going to save that conversation for a different day.
We've gone way down. We've gone way down.
Jordan Lawler has not had a very good year.
I understand that. All right. Now, that all being said, we got the Ohtani conversation out of the way. Would you rather... He's not coming to Baltimore. Would you rather he go to the Yankees or the Rays?
The Yankees. I'm with Drew on this one. I think the Rays, out of all the teams he could go to, are going to utilize him in the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have utilized different players differently than most other teams in Major League Baseball have. You look at the way they've handled the opener over the past few years, and maybe you make Ohtani into that down the stretch a little bit, and you don't have him throw a ton of innings, and you save him.
Interesting thought.
And you use him almost exclusively as a bat. That may help you a lot. It may save his energy and make him a better hitter. Or you decide to use him as an opener, and he only throws 2 or 3 innings, or something along those lines. I think they will slightly change the way that Ohtani plays the game. because they are the Tampa Bay Rays and they do things really weird. And nobody knows why, but they just do them and they work most of the time. Tampa Bay, to me, is a much stronger lineup than I thought they would be. They're a much stronger lineup, but that's not to say they don't need Shohei Ohtani. And they've had pitching injuries.
And I would say that right now they could definitely use him as a pitcher, probably as much as they could
probably
use
more,
anything.
yeah. I still think he's worth more as a bat.
To me, it's a question of what is the pain if it does work, right? Like, the pain is, for the Rays, that it almost becomes impossible to catch them, right? And that if you were to have to face them in a playoff series, you feel miserable about it. But there's a lot less pain at the end if you lose to the Rays than there is pain if you lose to the Yankees.
Well, not only that, you're risking the fact that the Yankees could be catching up to you in the wild card race, which isn't completely out of the question.
Right, there's something to be said for that. And
I'm also a hell of a lot more confident the Yankees could sign him to a multi-year extension. That's what the real problem is.
A lot of people have brought up the idea that the Yankees would be emptying their farm system in order to go get him, and so I would be okay with the Yankees because let them empty out their farm system. That's come up from a few people today.
Well,
I hear you. I would add in additionally that what concerns me about the Yankees is always the eternal, but they could just turn around and sign. They might just turn around and sign him. Right?
I mean, if you look at the Yankees system, there isn't a ton of talent.
No, there isn't.
And if you look at the Yankees Major League roster, there aren't a super amount of guys that have come from that system. I mean, obviously Aaron Judge, your best player, has, but then again, he's not on the field 90% of the time. But your other big players, a lot of them are through trades or through free agent signings. So I don't necessarily think that that would be a bad thing for the Yankees. I think that's just how they operate, really. So yeah, I'd rather him go to the Rays.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the argument.
Let them get first place.
By the way,
Baltimore gets wild card.
and I apologize, I missed it. Cedric Mullins was placed on IL this morning.
Yes, and Logan Gillespie is back.
So they have made their. It's funny because one of the Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios was the 13th pitcher.
Okay,
and so ironically,
they do that before I can
That's
get
not
there.
necessary. That's not necessary. We can strike that one from the list.
Okay.
What would it have been, by the way, between
what was the other option?
Mateo or putting Colton or sending Colton Cowser back down?
Oh, Mateo.
Okay. I'm in a weird place where I don't want to send anybody back down, but
I don't think we're there yet.
As competitive as it is for at bats right now, with the games being as important as they are, I would be understanding of that.
Again, I'm just not that. I said it yesterday, but over the past 15 games, as of yesterday, you look at the numbers for Aaron Hicks, they haven't been
I understand.
great. And that's where I'm coming from.
I understand. All right, number 2. Jeremy Kahn suggested the other day the trade he wants to see the Orioles make is to get both Jordan Montgomery and Paul Goldschmidt.
Okay. So
I put it in the machine, and I came up with a trade scenario that they at least think works. Now, again, as always, we remind you about the machine. It's not like the ESPN's NBA trade machine where it's just about making the money work. No one values prospects the exact same way.
Correct.
So you can't – the machine is not Bible. But it's at least something. And very rarely does the machine spit something out where I say, get the entire F out of here with that. So
it's usually along the lines of accurate.
I pop it in the machine, and I come up with this. The Orioles acquire Paul Goldschmidt, who has another year of control.
Yep.
And Jordan Montgomery, who's a pending free agent. That's a value of 25.5.
Okay.
I pop into the machine Joey Ortiz and Judd Fabian, and it's a value of 25.3. So that would be the trade. The Orioles would send Ortiz and Fabian for a rental of Montgomery and another year of Goldschmidt. Or the Orioles acquire 2 rentals. Padres wave the white flag, deal Hader and Lugo, who until a week ago when I was poking around on the Padres, I had no idea was having such a nice season as a starter. I had no clue. I didn't know he was a starter for the record. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, geez, he's pitching quite well. 2 pending free agents. For a price, they have the value set at 7.4. The Orioles deal Connor Norby, who has a value of 8.7. So, would you rather they make the Jeremy Kahn trade for Montgomery and Goldschmidt or rent a couple of Padres for the price of Connor Norby?
That's actually a tough one. That's tough. I wish this was Jordan Hicks rather than Jordan Montgomery.
I hear you.
Because I think that makes more sense for the Orioles. Right
but
now.
It's not.
But it's not. So I've got to go with what I'm dealt here. I think Paul Goldschmidt, who almost won MVP last year, is going to make a nice difference on this team.
Mm-hmm.
And not that they necessarily need bats, but Paul Goldschmidt's Paul Goldschmidt, and I think he's one of the best hitters in all of baseball. So I have to go with the Jeremy Contrary just based on that. And you know, Seth Lugo was never really that good before this year.
Not at all.
With the Mets, he was up and down a lot. And reliever, starter, never really found a role. I'm not really trusting Seth Lugo.
I do think that Josh Hader is a wild card here, though. I have talked about Josh Hader a lot since last week. Like, Josh Hader, to me, is what you need.
I think I would be willing to give up Connor Norby for Josh Hader. But then again, you look at Judd Fabian, and, you know, he hasn't really played in against great competition yet.
I hear you.
I think what he was playing in Florida is not all that different than what he's played against so far in the minor leagues. This is high A numbers.
I understand that. I understand what you're saying. I get it.
So I'm not ready to buy the whole Judd Fabian thing yet. I still think he struck out so much in college that I'm nervous about him a little bit. But that doesn't change the fact that, again, I'm going to go with the Jeremy Contrary. I think Jordan Montgomery helps out a little bit, but Paul Goldschmidt definitely makes a big difference.
All right, very good. And then number 3, you're on a first date. You're hitting it off. Things are well. She's lovely.
Okay.
Maybe whatever anybody is into, he's lovely, they are lovely, whatever you feel. That's not my place. I'm not saying whoever. Whatever you're into, lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going well. You went out. You did an activity of some sort. Right?
Okay.
You threw some axes.
Okay.
You know, whatever you did.
All right.
Everything's going well. Then you get to dinner, and one of the following 2 things happens. Either A, they order like a child. You find out they are an extraordinarily picky eater. Like, unbelievably picky eater. You go somewhere nice, they order chicken fingers. And you say, why?
Oh, I have a friend who does that.
Yeah, I knew somebody who did that. We would go on, this was a salesperson, would go on sales meetings to nice places and would say, like, go to a seafood restaurant, say, I'll have the chicken fingers.
So my girlfriend every year goes for Baltimore Restaurant Week, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, right? And she brought, a few years ago, a friend of mine. And they went and he ordered a burger.
Did you immediately say,
well,
get out?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there.
This is before I knew both of them, actually.
Okay.
But I've just heard this story. So so we ordered a burger, and I think that's an abomination.
Well, it is.
I think that's an abomination.
I would say still slightly better than chicken fingers, right? Like,
maybe?
Slightly.
Maybe?
Chicken fingers to me is about the lowest of that's what a 3-year-old would order, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
you're immediately, if you are ordering chicken fingers anywhere but at the bar, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm guilty of this sometimes, though. Like, I would never do it at Ruth's.
I mean, if you're doing it at, like, Chili's, that's one thing.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying I would
There isn't nothing nice on the menu.
I definitely like... I have expensive taste when it comes to food. So I'm always like, steak frites is like my go-to. Like, if it's on the menu, I'm getting it.
God bless.
God bless.
Papa bless.
But if I was going to, like, for example, your friend's Glory Days right across the street, then I would probably think about chicken fingers, because that's the kind of place you might get chicken fingers.
I know too much about the Glory Days menu to, like...
But I don't know.
But like, if I'm at Glory Days, I would never order chicken fingers over wings. Like, I would still look at somebody and say, why wouldn't you just order wings like a normal human?
That's fair.
But I'm talking about you're going to a real place, not necessarily like a fine dining, but you're going to a real establishment of some sort of real establishment, somewhere between fine dining and a real establishment.
That's ridiculous.
This person orders chicken fingers, and you say, what? And you find out, oh yeah, I'm a really picky eater. Like, I don't eat anything.
All right.
Like, I basically eat like chicken fingers, spaghetti, pizza, like that. They have the palate of a child.
Yeah.
Or they order whatever it is they order, and they consume it in a manner similar to how Carson consumed the banana yesterday. They don't know how to eat food. Like, they order, and I'm trying to think of what the example of this would be. Let's just say,
like you said, eating pizza from the side to start.
Yeah, you order pizza and you eat it, upside down. So, like, some bizarre. You get a burger and they're like poking out holes in the middle of the burger so they can eat it like a donut or something like that.
Well, I might start to think they need psychiatric help. So
that's what we're talking about.
That's a bigger problem.
So
than
either they have the palate of a child, or they eat their food like a child.
Palate of a child, I'm taking all day. I could stand to eat with someone who's ordering chicken fingers at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, but I do not think if they're poking holes in their burger or eating a banana like Carson does, I couldn't deal with that. That's just uncalled for, frankly. Or if they're dressing like Raven Rick back there, as Drew kindly
really
pointed out.
Raven Rick.
He did. He was
very worked up about
Drew.
I don't know. What
Drew has a very unique personality, is what I've noticed. Like I've met Drew twice now, and the fact that he went off on Raven Rick while he's like,
don't take anything he says.
What a wild man.
John, when you say burgers at steakhouses, like legit steakhouses are awesome. They're grinding up steak to make those burgers. They're usually phenomenal. Let's separate that.
Okay.
It might be a fine burger. You're not going to Ruth's Chris and order. If you're going to Ruth's Chris and ordering a burger, get out.
I still think that's weird.
Unless you're going for lunch.
I don't even know if they have burgers anymore.
Completely different conversation if you're going for lunch. If you're going for lunch, order a burger, right?
Sure.
That's fine. If you're going to dinner on a date,
but again, why
to
are
Ruth's Chris?
Why are they serving them?
What's that?
Why are they serving them? Like we should.
They do have children come in. They do have that actually happens.
True.
Where a child comes in, or the socioeconomic conversation we could have where somebody can't afford the filet, and so they order a burger or something like that. I'm not saying it's going to be the worst burger you've ever had. It's that what does it say about this person that they're ordering a burger when you went to Ruth Chris? That's the question.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it says they're a child. Continue to get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio for Would You Rather Wednesday, and one of you will be winning a shirt of your choice.
By the way, the same person, the same friend, had me get the wings one time at Outback, and
okay, but Outback's not a real place.
No, I'm
That's
just
not a. You can order whatever you want to order.
Outback's not a real place.
It's a high and it's Chili's. It's the same thing.
It's like steak Chili's, I guess.
Yes, it's a Chili's that just serves. And by the way, I'm not even going war on Outback. Outback's fine.
Yeah.
Like you can have a fine meal at Outback, but it's not a real place. Stop. It's
not my favorite.
A McAmerican chain. It's O'Houlihan's. Like it's just.
You don't really feel Australian when you're there.
No,
no.
It's not anything like that.
I feel very American when I'm at Glory Days.
It's TGI Fridays. It's the same thing as anything else.
I don't know if I'd go that way.
It's the exact same thing, just a different type of food. That's all it is.
I don't know if I'd go TGI Fridays. Like TGI Fridays is in a lower class than Outback is.
Maybe slightly, but it's only slightly. Only slightly. All right. When we come back in, we'll get a tidbit. We'll get tubular. We'll wind things down as we want to watch the baseball game. And I got to fix the phones around here.
Should be fun.
Got things to do. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Exciting weekend of affordable family fun at Prince George's Stadium with the Bowie Bay Sox. Weekend starts on the 21st with our Bowie Pit Beef Night. Come on out and grab a bite. Back-to-back fireworks carry on to Saturday with the Island Luau, a free Bay Sox Hawaiian shirt to the first 750 fans. And it closes on Sunday with Heroes Day. Bay Sox jerseys auctioned off to support local charities. Get your tickets now by calling 301-805-6000 or anytime online at baysox.com. The Bowie Bay Sox. Let us be your 9-inning vacation.
The All-America Senior Game powered by New Balance will be back at Johns Hopkins Homewood Field on July 29th. The most decorated girls and boys lacrosse players in the country have been invited to play in what is the premier lacrosse event of the year. Every college coach wants their players in this game, and if you dream of being in this game, you start by trying out for one of your regional underclass teams this summer. The best against the best. Get your tickets now at allamericalacrosse.com.
Soak up summertime fun in Charm City. Enjoy only in Baltimore festivals, mouth-watering eats, and endless entertainment. Cheer on the O's at Camden Yards. Pick crabs by the waterfront. Beat the heat inside a world-class museum and make memories that will last a lifetime. Go to baltimore.org for more information and to plan your visit.
I'm Michael Jangrandy, president of AJ Michaels, your carrier energy expert for 44 years. Save money, energy, and make your home more comfortable and virus-free. Find us at ajmichaels.com. That's ajmichaels.com.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg remembers Goose as he looks back on the impact that late Tony Saragusa had both on and off the field here in Baltimore. Plus, he explains how Goose's kids are working to continue that legacy with the Goose Flights program. Also inside, Todd Karpovich profiles the path Tyler Wells has taken to becoming a star in the Orioles rotation. And you'll find a special summer travel guide with information about events and activities throughout the state. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
It's a Maryland thing you wouldn't understand. Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the eastern shore where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah.
If you miss anything on the show, don't forget that you can watch full episodes at youtube.com/pressboxonline, and you can download podcasts on Apple, iTunes, Amazon, and Grindr. Wait, did I say Grindr? I don't think that you would find it on Grindr. Not that I know what's on Grindr or anything, I swear. On second thought, you know what? I don't care what you think. Here's Glenn.
If you missed it, Stan and Ross are back together on Monday talking baseball. You can find that show, facebook.com/PressBoxSports, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. The Stan the Fan Variety Hour brings us today's tidbit of the day. What you got?
Let me unmute myself first.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would probably
Yeah,
help.
right.
So I don't think we covered it on any time recently, but Enrique Bradfield officially signed for slot value, which I guess is
Horvath was slightly under slot.
Horvath was slightly under slot.
But we already know that what's-his-face is going back. Like Tanner Witt.
Announced pretty
announced,
immediately. So that's my tidbit for today, that $4.1697 million is the slot value at that pick, and Enrique Bradfield signed for that number. Again, the Orioles had a mix of leverage, given that he's a college player with a good track record and first-round pick in the 17th overall. They're not going to pay him over slot like they used to when they paid Adley Rutschman the highest signing bonus ever, and that just doesn't happen anymore. So he got picked at 17, gets slot value. So, Glenn, now that he's signed and he has the chance to make the major leagues, I'm going to give you, as I told you in the break, I want you to tell me Orioles first-round picks since 2000 who failed to make the major leagues. So
failed entirely.
Failed entirely.
Never got there at all.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint, because this is really...
there's one I know off the top of my head is Billy Rowell, of course.
Billy Rowell, 2006.
Billy Rowell is maybe the most famous of the misses.
Yes,
You're not including the guys that haven't gotten there yet, right? Like, you're not... So, like...
Well, Kerstad doesn't count, no, because he still has the chance to.
Right, okay. So...
And then... I'm going to just throw this out there as well. Like, Cody Sedlock pitched, one game? Still counts to me. So he's
like guys that didn't make the major leagues
Didn't
at
make
all.
the major
Matt
leagues.
Hobgood never made the major leagues, right?
I believe Matt Hobgood did.
Did he make the major leagues? How do I forget that? Man, I can't believe I missed that altogether.
At least I would think so. No, you're correct. I was wrong.
Yeah, I didn't
so
think
Matt
he did.
Hobgood is added to the list. I'm sorry.
He dealt with injuries, and then he came back, and it looked for a minute like he was back on track, but I didn't think he ever.
All right,
got...
so there you go. Matt Hobgood, first-round pick who did not make the major leagues.
Now it gets tougher.
One of them was after 2010, but
one of them was
the rest of them were
another
before.
one that was after 2010.
Yes, there was. And also, I will say that some of these guys, and I'm not exactly sure how the draft worked in these early years because it changed a little bit. But some of these guys weren't like the top 30 picks, but they're still considered first-round picks.
They were. Did Bo Hale ever make the major leagues?
Bo Hale did not make the major leagues. 2000s. There you go. I was expecting you to get like 3 or 4 of these, so you're on a good track here.
Well, so there was a really bad stretch of drafting in the early 2000s.
Yeah, there absolutely was.
The problem is I got to remember what these guys' names were. Because there were a few pitchers that all...
Correct,
Bo Hale was one of them.
Bo Hale, yes. I was literally... So I saw Matt Hobgood's name when I was working through this last night, and I was like, oh, he made the major leagues.
No,
I cannot believe he didn't.
I like Matt Hobgood. We had a number of conversations over the years. A really good guy, but right. And that's part of the reason why I paid attention.
Was he part of the Cavalry? Was he one of those guys? Or I don't remember.
I don't know if you would say he was part of the...
Because there was that one picture on the front of a newspaper or magazine or whatever it was.
I don't think he ever registered with the Bergesons.
I know Chris Tillman was part of that, but...
Brian Mattis.
Brian Mattis, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Another first round
Lowen
pick.
obviously made the major leagues.
So there's one guy I have on here also who did not sign He was a high school guy who did not.
Oh,
sign.
what was that guy's name? Oh, what the hell was that guy? Was that Wade Townsend?
Wade Townsend. Good one, Glenn.
Dude, but
That's real good.
you had to tell me he didn't sign.
All right, yeah. That's the only guy on this list that didn't sign.
I needed that reminder. Dude, that was a dramatic night. I think the Orioles were off that night.
Okay.
And like, they were, whoever it would have been, HTS or whoever was doing the games, was doing like a live shot from the stadium that night. Will the Orioles sign Wade Townsend? Hey.
Whatever happened to Wade? We got to look up Wade Townsend and see what happened to that
That's
guy.
a good question.
I did look him up. He didn't make the major leagues
for anybody else
ever, but he was 18, I think. But
there's still somebody else after 2010.
Yes, there is.
I don't know that I'm going to come up with who that is. All right, just tell me.
So it's Josh Hart. Was drafted in 2013.
I don't remember Josh Hart at all.
He was the 37th overall pick.
Okay, so he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't their first pick in that draft.
He was not their first pick in that draft.
Okay.
Hunter Harvey was the 22nd overall pick in that draft.
I don't remember Josh Hart though. Like I don't remember anything about Josh Hart. I don't remember him.
So he was a high school guy, and he went to Parkview High School in Georgia.
If you say so, I'll
Josh
choose
Hart.
to believe you. So everything else comes pre-2010.
It does. I'll give you an even further hint. Everything is early 2000s here.
Early 2000s. All right. So the name that I think is a thing is Chris Smith. Is that a thing?
Chris Smith is
He was
absolutely
a pitcher
one.
From. Oh God.
Let's see if you can get that. That'd be impressive if you can get this.
I don't know why I think Florida. Was it Florida?
It is not Florida. You're in a state decently close. I mean, not like close,
Right,
but
just tell me.
southeast. You're looking at Cumberland University in Lebanon, Tennessee,
never even heard
which
of it.
probably hasn't had a draft pick
right.
to think of that since
I do remember.
2001.
The only reason I remember Chris is because we made fun of how generic the name was.
Yeah,
like
and 7th overall pick, so
Yeah.
high up
Yeah,
the
that's
Orioles.
How many more are there?
So we have, let me count this up here, 1, 2, 3 guys left.
Jesus.
All in 2000 and 2001.
Oh, for God's sakes. I don't know.
Again, you're doing a lot better than I thought you would. This is impressive.
I don't know.
All right, are you ready for me to read these names off?
Go ahead.
So Tripper Johnson in 2000.
Tripper Johnson. That name does nothing for me.
Tripper Johnson. He went to Newport High School in Bellevue, Washington. He was the 32nd overall pick. So there you go.
I thought you said the other guy went to Newport.
The other guy went.
Whoever you just said.
Which one?
Oh, no, Parkview is what you said. For Josh Hart.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Park,
I got to go.
Park. It was similar. It was something similar. Whatever.
Parkview High School.
Parkview High School.
Another Georgia place. There you go. Okay. So outside of that, Brian Bass, a shortstop.
I do vaguely remember
from Seminole, Florida.
I do vaguely remember the name Brian Bass floating around for a little while.
By the way, I did not realize that Mike Fontenot was a Orioles draft pick.
Fontenot, yeah.
Fontenot, sorry.
Yeah.
I before my time, but I do remember the name quite well. And 2001 draft pick by the Orioles, 19th overall. And then our other name here was, and I got to find it.
I might be. Do you know what the trade was with Mike Fontenot? Because I think I have this right.
I'm going to find out for you right now.
Mike Fontenot, I believe, was shipped to. Okay, so we remember. I believe he was shipped to the Cubs in the trade that acquired. Double check this, but I want to say it was Sammy Sosa.
I will double check that. It's certainly interesting. Yeah, Sammy Sosa was in that trade. February 3rd, 2005. He was traded to the Cubs along second baseman Jerry Hairston Jr. Interesting. And you had him on the show this week.
On Monday.
I saw that. And then Dave Crowthers, who I don't think is ever a name, and for outfielder Sammy Sosa. So there you go.
How about that?
That's pretty amazing.
How about that? All right, and
Good
then
stuff.
Did you say there was one more?
No, I think that was it. You got
Okay.
Townsend, Hale,
All right.
Tripper Johnson, Josh Hart.
I did actually fairly well.
Chris Smith, Brian Bass, and
fairly
Billy Rowell.
All right, very good. Very good. Tubular is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. Dodgers-Orioles at 1 on Masson. Yes, Cedric Mullins on the IL. That's the bummer going into today. They get one more pitcher in Logan Gillespie, but they're just they are not as good of a team. We know this. We've been through this a couple times now this season. They're not as good of a team without Cedric Mullins.
They're not.
You guys can keep ignoring it. There was a reason why Cedric Mullins was team MVP at the time when he got hurt. Like, there's so many small things that he does that get missed. I'm not saying that's the reason why they lost last night. The reason why they lost last night is because Tyler Wells got hammered.
Got hit around.
Cedric Mullins is not going to fix that.
I mean, it was almost 4-0 in the second inning, and then 5-0 by the third. So there's not much you can do there.
And it would have been nice to have Cedric Mullins, however, in the center field on Monday night. That would have been really helpful and might have been the difference.
What really would have been helpful overall is if Tyler Wells continued to give up home run balls, but not give up
only solo home runs. Yes, not
and then the Orioles give up 13 hits combined. So
not great, not a good night. Anyway, Julio Urias, Dean Kramer today. It's also on MLB Network in the rest of the country. MLB Network's got Nationals Cubs tonight at 8. MLB Network also has Guardians Pirates at 12:30, Rays Rangers at 4, Yankees Angels at 7. Sorry, Masson has Nationals Cubs at 8, not MLB Network. ESPN Plus for Padres Blue Jays at 7. The MLS All-Star Game, throw out all the records when Arsenal and the MLS All-Stars get together. Just a vaunted history between those two programs.
Oh, yeah.
That's tonight at 8:30 on Apple TV. The Women's World Cup gets underway overnight on Fox. New Zealand and Norway at 3 a.m. That's the first match of the Women's World Cup. The British Open gets underway overnight, 1 a.m. on Golf Channel. NBC Sports Washington right now, Indiana Fever, Washington Mystics. Later on, NBA TV's got Dallas Wings, New York Liberty. A friendly tonight on ESPN between Chelsea and Wrexham, of course, the team that's owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney that you see on Welcome to Wrexham on FX.
By the way, so is
awesome.
Is Arsenal playing the MLS All-Stars? Is that what's happening here?
Yes, they put a team of All-Stars together. They play them against Arsenal. That's what the
Arsenal's probably like C team. Like they'll probably bring up like the 17U guys.
Well, I don't know if they go that far.
I
think for the purpose of this event, they have an agreement where they play better players.
All right,
because it's the MLS All-Star Game.
They're probably gonna get crushed. I mean, that's what I would think. But
it's also a friendly, and who cares? You know what I mean?
I was into MLS for about 2 years.
That's weird.
I probably in that span went to 7 or 8 DC United games, and they were a lot of fun. Like I would love to get back into it.
I was the play-by-play guy for DC United for a little bit.
I did know that. That's awesome.
And I still couldn't tell you much.
I liked it. And
if we had a team here, I'd be into it. 100%. I'd be into it. But I can't pretend like it would be something that it isn't. Like that's the reality of it. I can't pretend that. Anyway, TBS for AEW Dynamite tonight at 8. Some non-sports highlights. New episode of MasterChef at 8 on Fox. New episode of It's Always Sunny. In fact, the season finale, which sucks, on FXX tonight at 10 o'clock. Everything else, go to glennclarkradio.com. Find it there. All right. Apologies that we missed Sal today. We're going to try to make that up. You said later in the week, maybe on Friday, so that'll be great if we can make that happen. Thanks today, however, to Drew. Thanks to Robin Carpenter. Thanks to Ethan Pecko. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the
archives
tab at glennclarkradio.com. As long as we can get the phones working again, tomorrow, Cole Irvin is scheduled to join us from your Baltimore Orioles after he looked really good out of the bullpen last night.
Interesting.
We'll chat with him. Also, Caroline Means, who is, of course, Mrs. John Means, and who was a very high-level goalie in her own soccer career, played in the NWSL. Yeah. She'll join us to preview the Women's World Cup, which gets underway for the U.S. on Friday night. So we'll preview that with Caroline Means and Stuff and Things as well tomorrow morning. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Visit Baltimore, Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Glory Days Grill, Dorchester County, the Bowie Bay Sox, Royal Farms, Costas Inn, All-American Lacrosse, the Baltimore Orioles, Birdland Sports, Easy Pass MD, Washington County, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Thanks, of course, to Zach. Remind me.
At Ziguman20. That's where you can find me.
At Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for us.